Do-do. Good morning, good. Well, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another of the Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of the Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you, as I hope we always do. To introduce myself, I'm not important. I'm just a guy called Raheem. I'm not important, but I'm gonna talk to you. And we're gonna go ladies first this morning. We're gonna go ladies first. Good morning, Cassandra. How you doing this morning, Cassandra? I said, I said we're gonna go
Good
ladies.
morning.
Good deal. Captain Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing
Good,
this morning?
good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family.
Man, we're going to start out. This is Black Friday, so ain't no telling what we're going to talk about today, but we do have a guest coming on at 8, between 8:15 8:30. We have a guest that's going to be on with us this morning. Looking very forward to having this young lady with us this morning. But I need to ask a question. I'm gonna go to Cassandra with this. I'm gonna go to Cassandra because a lot of time the women have a softer side when it comes to situations like this. Good morning, Zion Simpson. Good morning. Good to have you this morning. Cassandra, in a relationship, you're in a committed relationship with someone. Can you be emotionally? Can you emotionally cheat with someone else without being physical with them, with the other person?
Of course you can. People do it all the time.
Mm,
People especially when people have certain attractions to people.
mm-hmm.
They might. It's almost like, remember when Jesus said, if you thinking it in your head, well, are going on to do it.
Yeah,
Essentially,
yeah.
is what he was saying. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can. Yeah,
Wow.
because if you thinking about it, and looking at that person a certain way, and in your head, even in your head, you say, "Woo, boy, that's right there. I'd like to hit that." You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
you already did it.
Yeah. Linda, listen to Cassandra this morning. Getting all jiggy. Oh,
Don't,
all
don't say
jiggity with
don't say jiggity. Don't-
she getting all jiggity. Lord Jesus.
Absolutely.
But
That's a
but but
funny word.
exactly. But Linda, what do you think, man? Emotion. Can you emotionally cheat with somebody without physically touching them or having any type of interaction? Can you do that? Is that possible?
Well, for me, no, but I don't think it's. I will answer it this way. I can have an intimate relationship with someone and they just be my friend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But far as there's no cheating about it or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like if like say for instance, I am very particular about friendship.
Uh-huh.
So most of the time, if I meet someone and we really have the same vibe, that's like family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But as far as the cheating and all that, no. Are we talking about lust?
It can be lust, absolutely.
Okay.
It definitely
Yeah.
can be lust, but
Yeah. I'll never lose that. I'll always be lustful, I think. I don't think that'll ever go away.
wow.
No. Mm.
Okay,
I
but
enjoy women. I enjoy women.
me too, me too,
I really
me too.
enjoy women. I don't care what nobody say, anybody in any movement or what. No, I'm not gonna stop looking at a woman and enjoy what she looks like. No,
Hmm.
I don't care what nobody say.
But can that be perceived? Can someone perceive that as it's cheating in your mind?
I don't care. I don't care what they perceive.
Hmm.
It's just a matter of one. I love art. Every
Hmm.
time I see a new piece, I'm just as elated about it as the last piece.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure how far it goes, other
Hmm.
than you actually doing something.
Yeah, yeah.
Because one, a woman don't even have to know you looking at her.
Hmm.
I mean, what you just drooling and carrying on? What's going on? It depends on how you're looking at the woman. But I have an issue with like say for instance, it's dealing with the lust of the matter. I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand how you can look at a beautiful woman and pretend she's not beautiful or whatever. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
understand. But anything of beauty that I look at is beautiful. I don't really care
Mm-hmm.
what someone else perceives.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder as well. But now, if you're talking about lust, looking at, I'm going to screw that and wind up doing that, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't believe just enjoying someone is a bad thing or cheating or anything like that.
Okay. Cassandra, you seem to feel a little differently about it, and I can understand both of you all's viewpoint. But my thing is this right here: if you're in your mind, like you say, oh my goodness, oh look at that, and every time you see her, you're like, Lord Jesus, whoa, whoa, Lord, but you're with someone, you're physically with, maybe even married to somebody. Is that a bad thing, Cassandra?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, yeah. I don't, it's your perception. I don't know how to judge that. I know because I see men that I think is good looking, and I go like, whoop, boy, if I was a little bit younger. I mean, literally, I'd be like, whoa, it's been 22 years.
Uh-huh.
But I don't,
Y'all
I
so
don't
bad.
say anything. I don't put my hands on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I keep a distance. But now, if I absolutely, if I go somewhere in my head, and I told you about an incident I had yesterday, that was sick.
Mm-hmm.
That person
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
wild imagination.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. But see, y'all are something else. Y'all are something else.
But
Oh,
I get frustrated by the fact because I think people be lying.
mm-hmm. What you mean?
You know how some of these guys, and I don't know what the issue is. Okay, this narrative about you shouldn't look at women this way, and a man who said, "Oh, that's just, she shouldn't just be doing that," and blah. Why shouldn't she be doing it? Because it's tempting you.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, but you can't tell me you're looking at that, and that's not fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know how it is. Fine is fine. Green, blue. If it's fine, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like one, I can't look at a woman that may be a shade, a different color, and say she ugly just because she's a different color.
No. No.
You know how they go. Like that's one thing that with this race problem as well. It didn't matter that we were second class citizens and all that. Before we were citizens, we were slaves. There was still an attraction to one another, even in slavery.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if we keep look at all the kings and queens and the attract, and they talk about the beauty if you read a lot. And men were just taken by women's beauty till they go to war about it. We know
Mm-hmm.
men will kill about it.
Yes, sir.
And women too, for that matter, now, more often we see it. But I don't like lying to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not into that.
Mm-hmm.
If man, look, you know me, Raheem.
Yes, sir.
You know me. If she
Mm-hmm.
fine, she fine. I ain't got to go over there and say nothing to her.
Point blank purred.
Now, what I have done is because some women may get the wrong impression of me sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
If I tell you I like your shoes, I really like your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Ain't
it.
nothing else involved. Ain't nothing else
No,
involved in.
no, no.
Yeah.
Or if you know how we say, man, you wearing that dress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, some of those things I wouldn't say
The old man
anymore with
line.
people I wasn't familiar with.
The old man line. Girl, I don't know whether you wearing that dress or that dress wearing you.
No,
God almighty.
I don't know how an old man
Old
told me
man
once.
line.
An old man told me once.
Mhm.
Old brother of mine, I miss him so much. He passed away several years ago, Mr. Otis.
Mhm.
And he told me, he said, young man, soon you get to a certain age where sex won't be a priority.
Mm.
I'm waiting.
I don't know if I want to get there. Then
I'm waiting.
I like doing that horizontal mumbo. I like the
I don't know. I don't know why I would turn away from that. I just, at 51, I don't know how I turn away from that.
I turn to it. Look at him, girl.
I can, and you know what? I can. Some men I think can't resist,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a problem.
Yeah.
But being in the environments I've been in, majority corporate America, managing women and things like that, I know them. I get along with them very well. But I do know that some women can take things the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
So that may happen to cause a misunderstanding. But it happens. But I don't think you ought to just run over there and start hunching.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem.
Did brother
you got a problem.
Brother just say hunching? Did he just say hunching? Hunching. What's gonna be your business?
I said that because it was funny to me. I was watching the show yesterday, and I was like, "How you so hot that you at work and y'all wind up hunching in a closet?
Hunching.
You just got to do it right then."
Mm.
I don't know anything, but that's just that type of emotion where I just got to.
Sometimes when the moment hit, Leonard.
No, bro, I'm at work. I'm at work, man. I'm at work,
and I will be working.
I don't get down like that. I'm at work, bro.
Charles, good morning. How you doing this morning? Cut it out, Tiffany. I see you shaking your head already. Cut it out. This is Black Friday. This is Black Conversation right here. We talk about things. Charles, unmute yourself. Charles, can you hear me? Oh, Charles, we done lost Charles. Okay, we're getting back. Tiffany, real good morning. How you doing this morning? Center yourself for me there. You ain't in the center. There go. There you go. There you go. Tiffany, we asking a question. You're in a relationship, a real committed relationship with someone, and you see this guy that just he just look real good to you. And can you cheat in your mind with that person without physically touching them?
I guess. I mean, somebody that you're getting to know and conversing or something, because you can, develop feelings. Energy is energy. And sometimes you can connect with somebody just because you're married. That doesn't mean that you can't have a connection with somebody else. But just because you have that connection, it doesn't necessarily mean that you want to pursue that or something. You just have a connection. But sometimes you can have an emotional connection with somebody, and it is cheating to a certain extent, because sometimes you find yourself confiding in this person and telling them things that you would only tell your spouse, and then they end up becoming like a second best friend, because your spouse should be your first best friend. You know what I'm saying? And that happens.
Wow. And see, and that, to me, that part of it right there is where the issue falls in, because now you're bringing this person in to a relationship that you and your spouse is only supposed to have within you, the two of you, and you're bringing a third party in. Charles, coming back to you, brother, what do you say to that, man? If you're in a relationship, a real committed relationship, can you cheat? Can you mentally cheat with somebody? Is that cheating if you're lusting after this person? You always want to be with this person in some kind of way. Always want to be around.
Hey, say it again, bro. My audio messed up.
If you're in a committed relationship with someone, someone else outside of the relationship, can you mentally cheat with that person without physically touching them? I think we have to go back to Charles. I think he has issues with his line there. Go ahead, Tiffany.
So I've been married and I've been happily divorced since 2005. And when a guy says, this is just my opinion, if a guy tells me, if I wasn't married, I would be all over you or something like that, to me, he's cheating.
Yeah.
Because he shouldn't even be thinking that way.
It shouldn't even be a thought.
That's right. And if it is a thought, he really shouldn't put it out there in the universe, because he's letting you know you can get it. He's letting you
Exactly.
know
Exactly. Leonard, what do you say to that, brother? If he even say that, girl, if I wasn't married, I told my that. If I wasn't married, girl, ooh, girl, you have some problems. Has he crossed the line?
I don't know. I don't believe so. I mean, that's just if he wasn't married, that's what would happen. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But he's married, so it couldn't
But
happen.
that thought though. But I'm
Huh?
asking about that even that thought, even verbalizing that thought, I think is an issue
I mean,
because he got some
it
things in his
depends on
mind.
the company that you're in. It
Mm-hmm.
really
Mm-hmm.
depends on the company that you're in. And like, say for instance, I have a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I tell my therapist things. We have a close relationship.
Yeah.
Charles.
So I'm just saying, what are you not saying? What are you saying to your wife that you shouldn't say to somebody else? That's the thing. What is it that you're saying
Mm-hmm.
that you think is cheating? I don't understand the cheating part.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be because I don't have a lot of secrets, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But
And I think it is like the sound you said. Biblically, it says if you think within your mind, you have already sinned. If you think within your mind, you've already sinned. If you have this vision in your mind and you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that, you've already pretty much sinned. Is that a part of it?
no, because one, and also I'm not sure of, with the Bible portion and that translation. Of course, I've read it and thought about it before.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's better that if I thought about murder, would you prefer I think about killing you or actually kill you?
Well, what you got to do is you got to think about what I'm gonna be doing while you're trying to kill me now.
Well, see,
Leonard.
that's not the issue. We're talking
I
about
understand
what
what
I
you're
would
saying.
be what I would be thinking.
I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
So
And
that
that's the point.
particular thing, I
Point.
think that the Bible was trying to give us caution,
Mm-hmm.
caution,
Yeah.
and we should we because one, your mind is very powerful,
Mm-hmm.
and the caution that the Scripture tells you helps, I think, keep distance,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't go further. It's why you shouldn't think of this type of thing, or you should
Yeah.
be able to control how you're thinking in that light. And like
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany said, some things you shouldn't say, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, especially
Mm-hmm.
I learned that working with women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Men
Something you.
don't men don't care. Men
Mm-hmm.
really don't care unless they gay.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want to tell you that they gay or something like that. But men say anything. It don't we dudes talk about anything. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have all these issues like that. But now I'm not going to be in a group of women and say certain things. And I found out that women's conversations are far more sexual
Mm-hmm.
than
You,
men's.
oh,
There
you.
are some things I've heard women talk to me about. I'm like, wow,
Mm.
wow. Y'all
So you
get
mean to
down
tell me
like
they be
that?
talking about the hook? They be talking about the horizontal mumbo and all that kind of stuff like that too.
But it's, they get very, if you're friendly with them, they become very friendly with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had situations sometimes where a woman may have thought I was gay because I wasn't all on top of her like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not that type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
I can respect you like that. I'm not going, like, one, touching. I don't like to be touched.
Mm-hmm.
But women, like, you can't touch them, but they won't hesitate to touch you.
Exactly.
They do
Yep.
it. I mean, they do. A woman will sit there and be talking to you and stroke your leg.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you be like, wait, hold on now.
Good. All right. Hey, hey,
Hold on now.
hey, hold on now. Wait a
So
minute.
everybody should exercise caution in the matter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know when you're doing too much,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Exactly.
know, and
Exactly.
sometimes it be just too much.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Let me go to Charles. Charles is actually on the phone line with us right now. Charles, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, you can hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You fight the system over there this morning. Yeah, you must be traveling.
Man, both of my phones, man, yeah, acting crazy.
Charles,
But I think it might be the overcast. I don't know what it is.
yeah, probably so. The weather's bad out there, man. And you got old Cracker Jack phone, so that don't help either. But
I think I got two. I got two nice Cracker Jack phones. That's all right though.
there you go. There you go. Hey man, we're talking about cheating, man. If you're in a relationship, committed relationship with somebody, and I'm gonna switch it up just a little bit when I come to you, Charles. If you're on Instagram or something like that, and you keep is this one female on Instagram, and every time your wife or your girlfriend come into the room, you on this girl page, you liking her pictures and you comment on her pictures and all the time. It can that be construed? Can your spouse, your partner look at that as cheating? I mean, you're cheating.
Yep, yep. If that's not what y'all agree on, or if that's not what y'all do, but I
Mm-hmm.
know the question you asked earlier, if you in the public,
Yeah.
if you in public and if that's something that you and your girl allow, then it's not cheating. But if it's something that y'all don't allow, then it's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So yeah, it could be. It's whatever the couple has already put in their relationship,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it cheating or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got uh, chicks out there who go pick up chicks for they do.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just how people living these days.
Now,
I'm not gonna say these days. Out in with it these days because
mm-hmm.
it's been going on.
Now,
It's
y'all.
been going on.
Now,
I work around a lot of women myself.
mm-hmm.
Like I'm in the field, and I agree with Leonard, but they talk way more than men to me about anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now,
I
Charles,
guess medical women do. Put it that way.
Now, Charles, I'm about to say, I'm about to say this to you, man. You know, you're my brother, man. I love you dearly, but I'm gonna tell you something, man. They don't say chicks no more, man. They don't say that no more, man. Stop saying chicks, man.
Well, you can call them chicks. You can call them women. You know, whatever they respond to is what they respond to.
There you go.
But you know what it goes by? That goes by who's saying it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
See, a dude who they don't like can't call them nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they like you, you can call them chick, no mama, shout it,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what they like you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? You're a likable person.
Exactly. That's
So
good. That's good.
actually, is whatever they like is
Mm-hmm.
what you can call them.
Now, watch this. Cassandra, do you like it when a fella call you? He call you shouty? Come here, shouty. Cassandra.
Man, man, ain't no grown man calling no 60-year-old woman. Y'all really weird.
Come here, shouty. Shouty. Come
If
here.
that's your man, you don't care, do you?
Well, no,
They don't
but
care.
my man, that's just a pet name for me. That's fine, but I hope
Right, that's what I'm saying. And most women don't mind what you call them if they like you. If they like you, they don't mind what you call them, unless you call them the B word,
Yeah.
and that's when you done went over. That's when you done stepped over the bridge. You done stepped off the cliff, right?
Watch this. Watch this.
See?
We got quite a few
I'm
people.
about to throw him off a cliff too.
Oh Lord, see, here we go. Let me do this. We got a few people on the phone. Everybody we have on the phone,
All right,
so
man.
please be patient with me. But I'm gonna go and Mike, I'm coming to you. 'Cause I know you got some stuff you want to say about this as well. But Tiffany, let me ask you this question: Who do you think in actor or something like that? Who do you like? Who do you think is get your go? I think you said you like The Rock.
Hell no, I didn't say The Rock.
Hey!
That's me.
Oh,
I
that's
don't do
yeah, that's right. That's Toy you want to tell you. That's right. Toy you love it. Who you?
Yeah, that's me. Claim my husband. Hold on now.
So Tiffany, who do you
You can
think?
have your husband because I don't like it. She can have her husband because I don't like anything that glows.
Oh
When
Lord,
if the lights come out, I want it black. So she can have it.
hold on. Who do you like?
We mild in
Let me
the
think.
Who do you
Who
like?
I like?
Come on now.
I can't think. Let me think.
Oh Lord, we gonna move on. You can't even think who you like. Oh, Lord, my Jesus.
Oh,
Lord.
okay. Can it be dead or alive?
Nobody, baby.
If we dead, I don't know how much y'all stuff y'all gonna be doing now if you dead now, Tiffany. But go ahead.
DMX.
Okay, DMX. Now, if DMX called you shawty, would it be okay, or would you favor that more than if Flavor Flav called you shawty?
Nobody can
Shout
claim that. They definitely can't say, "Do you want to do the horizontal mumble or whatever you doing?" And they damn sure better not talk about hunching. That was back in
Now,
the third grade. You know what I'm
look
saying?
here.
We ain't doing that no more. We elevated. We elevated.
Oh Lord, let me go to Mike first. Mike, good morning. How you doing this morning? Mike, can you hear me? Unmute your line there, brother. There you
Good
go.
morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you this morning. Good to have you, brother. We're asking a question about cheating, man. If you're on Instagram, if you always you're in a committed relationship, okay, you're in a very committed relationship, maybe even husband and wife, even married. And every time you go on Instagram, you always find this one girl, and you liking her picture, you always comment on her pictures. Oh, girl, you look so good. Blah. You just going overboard with it. Your spouse walk into that room. Can she say that you're cheating?
It's a little bit more deep than that. For me, it's a thing of there's the physical act, there's the mental act. I'll
Mm-hmm.
put it like this. A good man is dangerous, a good man is violent, a good man is a monster. But he
Mm-hmm.
civilizes that and he does not act on that impulse. He restrains himself. You
Mm-hmm.
have what God put in you, which is a sexual desire for the opposite sex, hopefully, but you have a sexual desire in you to simply say that you're not going for the rest of your life, look at any woman and be attracted or desire her or find anything cute about her is
Mm-hmm.
a lie. So the
Mm-hmm.
question becomes, do you act on it or do you just simply use that reservation and civilize yourself? And yeah, it may be a thought in your head, but you would never act on it.
Okay, but so a man thinking, so is he. So if you man, if he thinking it, if he thinking, if he having in his mind, he drew his whole conclusion, or maybe acted the whole scenario out in his mind. Is that, can that be construed as cheating? He's played the whole thing out in his mind. He didn't physically go out there and do it, but he's played it in his mind a million times. Has he cheated on his spouse?
All right, I'm not trying to avoid the question, but you have plenty married people who think about what their lives would have been had they not gotten married, had they not had children, had they not chosen to stay in the town that they live in, and they never got to see the world, none of these things. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean they necessarily regret the decision. It doesn't mean they necessarily want to now get a divorce and abandon their children, but they stay with their children, they stay with their spouse,
Mm-hmm.
but they do think about what would have been or could have been. So
Mm-hmm.
is that saying that you don't love your children and love your family, even though you think about what could have been?
But see, that's nice, man. And you like a politician,
I'm
but you
with you,
so you
Mike,
sure
on
not
that
answer the question.
because that, like, I'm with
I mean,
Mike.
but
I'm with
still
Mike.
I
though,
mean, it's
but
an issue of
answer,
we're
answer the question.
bound by when you talk about marriage and you talk about the mind and whatnot, we're bound by duty, responsibility. I
Mm-hmm.
have a duty to my family. I have a responsibility to my family.
Mm-hmm.
However, man, had I got married, man, I'd probably be living in France right now, knocking them down, boy. So it
Lord
depends
Jesus.
on how you want to look at it. If you want to look at simply having a thought as cheating, then
Mm-hmm.
everyone cheats, period.
Mm-hmm.
There's something mentally, genetically, chemically wrong with you if you don't think that anybody aside from your spouse is sexually attractive.
That's
Mm-hmm.
delusional.
So my thing, and I could go with that. I could walk with that. But to answer the question, your answer would be yes, you have cheated, basically. But
Yeah,
there's a stipulation. There's circumstances surrounding that. But the answer is yes.
yeah, because the human condition, I mean, we all have things inherently built into us.
Mm-hmm.
It's just gonna be, it's there regardless of not. It's just like saying, okay, what if your spouse dies? If
Mm-hmm.
your spouse dies, well, you're supposed to be in love with your spouse, and that's the only one for you, right? So you can't get married if you can't find nobody else attracted by that same logic, then, right?
Mm-hmm. I understand exactly. I understand exactly what you're saying. But hold on, let me stay right there. Don't go
But
nowhere,
my
brother.
thing is, if you don't physically act on it, if you don't take actual steps in the real world outside your head, if you don't take any steps toward it, you're not cheating in that sense. Now,
Mm.
have you had the thought? Yes. But have you actually cheated? Have you actually taken steps? If you haven't done any of that, no, you're not cheating.
Okay, hold right there, Mike. Hold right there for a second. Let me go to Toya with a T. Toya with a T. Good morning. How you doing this morning? And the,
Hello, hello. Get money, get money.
and the Rock told me to tell you hello.
Hey, baby, I smell what you cooking.
Toya, is that cheating though? Is that really cheating? You played it out
Yes,
in
it
your
is.
mind. You played it out in
Yes,
your
it
mind.
is. Yes, it is.
She ain't gonna let me
Yes, it
finish.
is.
She ain't gonna let me finish.
Yes, it is.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you thought about I'm gonna cut. Oh, you thought about it? Yeah, she can get your stuff, get up out of here, partner.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just playing. Um, so let me go back to my story. Okay. Uh, when I was of the world, I thought entertaining, going out with somebody else wasn't cheating because we didn't have sex.
Mm-hmm.
But when my boyfriend found out, he was still mad.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't do nothing. I was letting him take me out to dinner, spend his money on me. I ain't give him none. I ain't even kiss him.
Mm-hmm.
It don't make no difference. My boyfriend was still mad.
Yeah.
He still had a problem with me. Then he found out that I said, "Oh wow, look at that stomach, boy. That's what I'm talking about." He still was mad with me when we went out, and he found out that we was together, but I didn't do nothing. No, we didn't do nothing. If I did, I would have told you I don't. He
Mm-hmm.
was still mad. So
Mm-hmm.
no. But let me go back to my story. When I lived in the world, a lot of the stuff I thought I did was cool. So if I'm gonna fornicate, of course I'm gonna think that cheating does not involve the thought. But what did God say?
Mm-hmm.
What did God say?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't God say if you think about it, it's just like you did it?
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't He say if it's in your heart, it's just like you did it?
Mm-hmm.
So it don't make no difference what you think. You can fool yourself to believe whatever you want to believe. But what did God say?
Mm-hmm.
All right then. So if you thought it, you did it. And I feel the same way. If you thought it, sir, you did it. Don't nobody want to sit there and know that they woman lusting after somebody else. Don't
Mm-hmm.
nobody want to sit there and know that they man lusting after somebody else. Everybody want to feel like the only one, the top dog and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go back to what the Lord said. The Lord says if you're thinking about it, like you said earlier, man, think of therefore you shall be.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna be in my bed thinking about somebody else. If she's
Mm-hmm.
a superstar, I can't even contact her. I can't even reach her. You get mad because every night I say, "Ooh, girl, look at you. Ooh, it's just a poster." Boy, if you don't get your stuff and get up out of here because you a dumb apple,
Boop, 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 boop,
you
boop.
don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
Exactly.
don't understand the rules of the game, get out of the game. You're playing the wrong game. You
Mm-hmm.
don't do that. So you mean to tell me if your daughter got this boy sitting up there just gawking and hawking at somebody else? Oh, baby, he ain't cheating. He just looking at the picture, talking about what he do, what he gonna love, what he gonna love. But when he talk to you, he act like he ain't got no sense. He can't even say good morning when he see you. He
Mm-hmm.
can even come to you and say, baby, you look good, but you gawking and cawking at this picture or whatever it is. And
Gawking
I'm
and
supposed to
caulking.
feel some kind of way? No. We're going to go ahead and break it down. What the Lord say? Okay, then. You don't get to trump what the Lord say. You can act like you think it ain't nothing all you want to. But it is what it is. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
rolling with what the Lord say. So operate inside the guidelines, man.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go outside the guidelines, man, and don't do things that you know don't make no sense to appease you. And then when I get an attitude about it, because I'm a woman and I'm sensitive, you need to operate within inside the guidelines, man.
Mm-hmm. Good
And I'm
deal.
done.
Good deal. Good deal. Toussaint, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Mm, I'm good.
Yeah, put on your seatbelt, everybody. Put your seatbelts on. Toussaint, now you in a committed relationship. You're in a committed relationship. Say y'all been together for a long time or even married, and your spouse. Let's switch it up a little bit. You walk into a room one time, and she's on this dude's Instagram page, liking the pictures and commenting on it and talking all kind of nice stuff and all kind. Okay, go to another picture. You sit there. You just stand in the door. You watching. Go to another picture, doing the same thing, liking all these pictures and commenting on all these pictures, and you say, okay, it's just Instagram. And you, a couple of days later, you go back in the same and you look, and she got the same guy, some more pictures, and she commenting on the pictures and liking all the pictures. Toussaint, has she cheating on you?
She's cheating on her.
Everybody
She's
down.
cheating on me.
Mm-hmm.
She's cheating on her.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what I thought about. I'm gonna put it out there like this. And I don't know if this is an answer to your question. Here you are scanning the net.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody walk in and you turn the page right quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
What just happened?
Deception. That could be a form of deception there.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. So I would call that, yeah, you slipping out. Oh, I ain't did nothing. I just thought it was nice. Wait a
Mm-hmm.
minute. What you turn the page for?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm saying that on both ends because I'll just go ahead and be honest with you.
Uh-oh.
Been there, done that. Saved by the bell. But been there, done that. What you turn the page for? All right. You hear what I'm saying? You even
Lord.
even with a friendly, no harm, no foul text or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You read the text and erase it. You lying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Some of the 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 some of Rico.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. Welcome to a beautiful new day, everybody.
Hey, likewise to you too as well, brother. Man, I need to hear. I need to hear you, Rico. Man, is that cheating, man? You walk in and you see this. You overlook it the first time. Okay, it's the internet, man. You know stuff, and then you see it again, and then maybe you go and you see it again, the same picture. I mean, the same person. Rico, it actually cheated on you, brother.
She ain't cheated, but she thinking about it. She's
Yeah.
tempted.
Mm-hmm.
She's tempted, And ain't no worse feeling than sitting out, man, just having a good old time. You sitting there looking, man. You strolling, you in love, you having a good time, and all of a sudden, an accident. Who walked in on you? What you doing? I'm just liking pictures. They just pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what they're gonna say. They just pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't never seen them before.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? Y'all can meet. You can make arrangements. What you see one thing leads to another.
Yeah.
Once you deal with temptation and you cross one line, you just you go ahead and take that enticement, then that'll tempt you to go ahead and take it another step further. Oh, well, let me see what type of person they are. Now you're having conversations with them.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you got a nice voice. Oh, I got a good deep voice. I like to hear your phone voice. Now you're talking on the telephone.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw a video yesterday where it's I think it was a man or woman. I walked up to somebody that had a boyfriend or girlfriend. I think it was a woman walked up to a man. She asked him, did he have a girlfriend? He was like, yeah. Then the woman just straight out said, you cheat?
Good Lord.
She wanted some.
Mm-hmm. She had plans.
Just came on out with it like that.
Mm.
So, I mean, man, the thing is people, that temptation is something serious, man. It's something serious. So, to a certain extent, I don't want to say she's cheating, but she's being disloyal.
She's entertaining that. She entertaining the ideal. Yeah. Yeah.
She's been disloyal. She's crossing a line she shouldn't be crossing, especially if she can't tell me, hey, I'm talking to this person, or I've been liking their pictures or whatever. Sometimes they might tell you that they like the pictures and they, oh man, he handsome, but they ain't letting you think that they're trying to communicate with them. But that social media, this is a new thing. Those likes and those comments on the pictures, we all know really and truly that's a new way of flirting.
Yep. Exactly. Wow, that's good. Let me go to Curtis. Good morning. How you doing this morning? Curtis, you there?
How you doing, bro?
Hey, doing good.
How you doing, bro?
Hey, doing good. Curtis, well, we're asking a question this morning. We're asking a question, man. And we're talking about cheating. We're talking about cheating this morning, Glow. We're talking about cheating. If you in a relationship with someone, you're in a relationship with someone, and you walk into the room with her, committed relationship, and she's on somebody's Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, just liking all the pictures and commenting and stuff like that, and saying how good they look, and you show look good, blah blah blah. You see it one time, you don't pay no attention to it. Okay, it's internet. A couple of days later, you walk in the room, and the same person, she's liking all their pictures and commenting on it and stuff like that. Curtis, my thing is she cheating? Has she cheated on you? Either mentally, certainly not physically at that point, but mentally, has she cheated on you?
I don't know, man. You might be in a eyes wide shut type of situation. First off, if you gotta be going through her phone like that, then guess what?
No. You didn't go through a phone. You walked in and you kind of looked over her shoulder, and she was on that page, on the Instagram page, and liking and commenting. And you look at some of the comments she writing, and she talk about how good he look and he's so amazing and all kind of stuff. What is that? What's going on there, Curtis? What is it? What is really going on?
I don't know what's going on. I know one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right. So you might be asking the wrong question to the wrong dude.
Okay.
I'm not looking over nobody's shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna send myself through that kind of torture.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Because my mind be somewhere that ain't gonna take me nowhere else but either the graveyard or the prison.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
that's just one of them things, man. I try my best not to visit
Mm-hmm.
unless it's tangible. I mean, we talking about a woman, man. I'm a dude. We talking about a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if she that reckless and she a woman, man, come on, man. Your relationship already over.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
It's up, yo. You know what I mean? Like, nah, man. Don't know women who really care or really like that or really invested like that. They don't get jammed up like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
my dad, my time, he said, son, a woman who must around you for 30 years, you'll never know. You'll
Mm-hmm.
never know. You'll have a baby and take care of this baby. You know, turn 45 years old. Next thing you know, something happened, all such it all come out.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
something
Wow.
about that.
Mm.
But I just don't. I don't get into that, man. My mom and my grandma told me years ago. Look, if you gonna go looking for something, be prepared for what you're gonna find.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna ask the question, be prepared for it. If you're dealing with a woman, be prepared for a real answer to come now.
Mm-hmm.
You better be prepared for it. It might not work in your favor. But you better be prepared because you don't know what's coming. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's why I don't even go on my wifey purse. If my wife say, baby, give me such and such, such and such. Oh, okay, where's that? Oh, it's in my purse. Okay, I bring her that whole purse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do that too.
Because the mind is crazy, man. You'll mess around and see something. You'll mess around, go in the purse to grab what she asked you to grab, and you will see a blue eyeliner. The devil get right in your mind. Hold on, she don't know wear no blue eyeliner when she with me. What's that doing in here?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Good deal. And see
Like, got a blue eyeliner. Now
mm-hmm.
y'all arguing over a blue eyeliner, man.
Yeah. I'm with you. Let me go to I want to pull a few more people into the conversation. Cassandra, what's on your heart? What do you say to this whole situation, man? Cheating. We're talking about cheating mentally, physically, even emotionally. What constitutes cheating?
It's a whole bunch of stuff that can constitute cheating, and I'm with Toya. If we want to be, we want to teach the scripture. If we want to go ahead and use the scripture distinctly says what can be we call cheating. If you look at a person, and just for clarity, some of the biggest, I'm gonna use the word, it's acceptable.
Uh-oh.
Some of the biggest whores I know, no, some of the biggest whores I know are women.
Mm.
And I know some women that don't care if the man is married. They don't care. They're gonna get what they want no matter what. Those are the type women that, oh man, well, I did. I raked one over the coal one time that came to me about my husband.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. That is so disrespectful. And I mean, he was a good guy. You know what I'm saying? A businessman, and you just want what he got, and you just gonna disrespect the fact that he's married. That don't mean nothing to you. You know what that girl told me? I want him, and I'm gonna have him. I don't care what you, God, or anybody else say. Hello.
Mm.
Hello.
Good Lord.
Hello. And I whipped her behind too. I whipped her behind for me and God.
Rico, she said she whooped her behind for her and for God. Good Lord, she put a whooping on that. She put a whooping on that one, boy, for her and God.
See, to be honest with you, that's what they call nipping it in the bud.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I can understand why they say just entertaining the thought is a sin within itself. Because, like I said, once you entertain the thought and you indulge yourself, you get caught up in it. Your desires are going to go more towards trying to find out. You're going to start getting more curious about what it is you went in and tempted yourself with. But then we have to somewhere we have to be sort of logical about this because we see posters of people. You know, we grew up seeing posters of women, Playboy.
Everybody mute your line. We got some background noise coming from somebody's line. Everybody mute your line for me.
We had the era where, you know, when we were coming up, girls had heartthrobs and they had posters of guys, you know, they had Stoney Jackson, you know, people have people that they fawn over, celebrities. And so if I happen to see a picture of Beyonce or Lisa Ray and or Ashanti, and I'm liking and I'm liking and I'm liking, the odds that my wife or my girlfriend is gonna get mad at me or think that I'm cheating is slim. She gonna look and be like, man, what's the odds of Beyonce even knowing or recognizing that he is liking those pictures? So it makes you wonder, why would it be a difference if it's somebody local or celebrity? Or it may not be nobody or local. It might just be somebody that's on Instagram. But the thing is, I think the difference comes in is it's the spouse or the other person that catches that one liking or commenting on the picture knows that the person is looking at those likes and comments are looking to see who's liking and commenting. Because if the right one is liking a comment, they automatically thinking, she might have something for me or he might have something for me. I got their attention. Out of all of these people that complimented them, I got their attention and they recognize my compliment. So the spouse knows, wait a minute now, that ain't Jay-Z or Beyonce, but this can go a little bit further if they let you know that they received it very well. Because compliments and flattery, that's the introduction all the time to, all the time to be able to get somebody, to know somebody on a better level, a higher level. So,
exactly.
Mentally you are I'm gonna say entertaining cheating.
Wow. That's good. You're listening to This is the Morning Glow. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on DKM Media Group and Associates. Want to thank everybody that's joining us this morning. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. What we're talking about right now is cheating. And Tiffany, I'm gonna come to you. Mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, are there different levels of cheating? Unmute. There you go.
Yeah, you can say there's different levels of cheating. I mean, everybody knows I wasn't attracted to my ex-husband when I was with him, and I had to think about somebody else to get me through sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, Charles, would you stop? And then even when I found out that he cheated on me, I told the side chick, "Thank you." You know what I'm saying? You was doing me a favor. So I guess there are levels to cheating, but for me,
Ouch.
like that social media stuff that you were just talking about, that's too much work. I never went through a man's phone. If I go through his pockets to do laundry and I see a paper folded up, I don't open that. That's none of my business. It's not mine. And especially for
What
me,
if
I'm not
Tiffany,
looking
Tiffany,
at
let me ask
liking
you this
on that
question. Let me ask you this question. What if you are doing laundry? You're doing the laundry and you're
Mhm,
going through his pockets. So you can, take the stuff out so you can wash the clothes, and you all don't use condoms, and you find a
mhm.
couple of condoms in his pocket. What do you assume that is going on? They ain't got no business going on, or how do you handle that situation?
It's my husband, and he has a condom.
Yes, and y'all don't use them now. Y'all don't use them.
Oh well, if it's my ex-husband, I don't care. But we would have to have a conversation. We would definitely have to have a conversation. And see, I'm the type of person, so I'll use my ex-husband as an example. I asked him straight up because I'm not Inspector Gadget. I'm not going to look for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna ask you straight up because a woman knows her man. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
ask you, and you're gonna give me your answer. Whatever that answer is, cool. But
Mm-hmm.
once the truth presents itself, it's on.
Yeah,
It's on and
exactly.
popping. Because the thing is, I can't accept a lot of things. One thing I can't accept is you looking at me in my face and lying. Because once you lie to me, I don't respect you. And if you don't have my respect, you don't have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So once he confessed years later, oh, it was on, and he got punished royally.
Wow,
And then
wow.
I divorced his ass.
Chuck, now you can't say stuff like that on here. Now you can't use them words.
Oh.
But Charles, talk to me, Charles. What do you say? What do you say to that, Charles? What if you're doing the laundry that particular day? And I'm gonna flip the whole question. You're doing laundry that day, and while you're doing that laundry, while you're in the midst of doing that laundry, y'all don't use condoms. And in her little skirt, you find a condom. Now, you look at it, you like, wait a minute, what do you what happens at that time? What is your mindset at that moment?
First of all, I change the oil. She do the laundry. I ain't do. I was just kidding. That's a joke. That was a joke. See, that was a joke, y'all. It was a joke. It was a joke. Like what the?
What is brother going to go?
I know. I've been being in trouble. You keep talking like that, right? That's reckless.
Exactly.
I don't know, man. You gotta have a conversation. I'm pretty much with like what Tiffany just said. You gotta have a conversation. My mind, I try not to let my mind control me to where I can't talk to a person, because if you already go in thinking this, that, and the other, no matter what that person says, you understand it's gonna be whatever is still in your mind. Because they could be telling you something and telling you and explain to you, and you'll be doing this. Look, Raheem.
Yeah.
That means you're not cutting it off.
Mm-hmm.
You're not listening. You're not giving them the benefit of the doubt. It could have been the girlfriend gave it to him. Anything, anything. But you got to have a conversation.
You're disconnected. You've totally disconnected. You've totally, at that point, you ain't hearing nothing. You don't want to hear nothing. The only thing you know is you see that condom, and that's the only thing that's in your mind, and that's all you're thinking about at that particular instance. Leonard, what do you do in a situation like that? Leonard, what do you do?
I mean, like, it depends. I believe you should ask first, because one, I've had condoms in my pocket, but then I'm an activist. I was passing out condoms.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm like with Charles on this. You'd ask the question first.
Mm-hmm.
And if the answer was unacceptable, if I'm married to you, I'm divorcing you. That's one.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So it depends on your relationship too.
Mm-hmm.
I have no value for single relationships. I never have. That's why I prefer marriage. And I've been married the majority of my adult life. So I never really did girlfriends or anything like that. No, because I don't like that. If you're gonna be with me, you're gonna be with me. I'm not finna hear you running your mouth, getting on my nerves about everything. We're done. I mean, I don't understand why you would even be with somebody that if you make me frown more than smile, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do it, man. We constantly, like, when I was just listening to you all talk, and because I don't really have no ulterior motives when you were talking about social media. Social media is not, I don't rely on social media for certain things like that. But if I like something, it's because I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife has on social media as well. I believe she can look at whatever I'm looking at or what have you. There's lots of reasons why I like things. But it ain't always because I'm trying to mess around or something like that.
Yeah.
And then if you got to be hiding things or whatever, you probably shouldn't be together.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So, and there are certain things that are still personal, even when you're married. And I know people don't want to hear it.
People don't hear that.
But there are things that you should keep to yourself, and no one should know. But now it has become more popular for people to tell all their business because they feel full of drama and BS. And now they want to start a whole bunch of mess about something that should have stayed in their head in the first place. Now, I'm not like other people because, I'm always ready to defend myself.
Can I say amen?
I'm always ready to defend myself. And women start a lot of mess but can't bear the consequences. You best believe if you keep haggling me over something that ain't going on, we're done.
Leonard, you're digging a hole now. You're digging a hole.
No, I ain't digging no hole. See, I understand this dynamic between men and women. I don't play the game. I never have. You're going to give me what I want. I'm going to give you what you want. We're going to be cool and we're going to respect each other. In my world, women have always been equal. So I don't cut women no slack. You just like me. Don't act. You just like me. Do not act.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Let's go to Mike. What's on your heart, brother? Rico, come to you next. Oh, Mike, unmute. You gotta unmute yourself, brother. You gotta unmute.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess there's different ways of looking at it. For one, if you look at it from a Bible perspective, I don't like when people bring the Bible into it because the Bible is very cut and dry. And people want to bring up that scripture all the time of, oh, just because a man think it, okay, well, the Bible also says we have all fallen short of the glory. You have to go and you got to repent every day because bottom line, we are not perfect. There are things inherently built into man, which is why you got to ask God to forgive you for all your sins on a
Preach.
daily basis, correct?
Preach.
Come on. Come
So
on.
you're not going to be able to sit here and say, I'm never going to think about somebody else. Then let's look at it from a legal standpoint. The legal standpoint is, okay, so now we're talking about thought crime. So I get fired from my job because my boss is a jerk and he wants to fire me. And I'm sitting in my car. I'm looking at, and let's just say he finally gave me my last check, and that little check ain't worth nothing. I'm sitting in the car thinking about I should go in there and kill this man, or I should go rob a bank. So because I have thought it, and I'm in a very emotional state at that particular point, what you're saying is that if I think about cheating, I have cheated. Well, have I just robbed a bank? That's why I say the steps you take make a big difference. That's why I say, like I said, the example of a man. A man should be dangerous. He should be violent. He should be a monster. But he should also civilize that and restrain himself. He should use that in the employ of defending his family, defending his community, but he shouldn't be out here walking around with an axe, putting it between everybody's damn ears and
Hey,
whatnot.
hey, we don't do
So
that.
my whole thing with the whole cheating,
Mhm.
so with the whole cheating thing, if you want to simply say that a thought qualifies as cheating, no, no, no. I want to know what steps you have taken. The steps make a difference to me. I'm not going to sit here and say you this, that, and the other just because you thought you might go into the store and be standing in the grocery line. And I've even had this. We all standing in line and somebody else walk around all us and get in line and he just go on and start ringing up his stuff. We looking like, what the hell? You know, there's a line right here, right? You know, like we always just standing
Mike,
here holding stuff for no
Mike,
reason.
Mike,
So we
Mike. I'm at to step in for a
go
second.
ahead.
Certain language we don't use on here, brother. Be mindful of your language, okay? Be mindful of your language. Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, you know, just to simply say that because you think something, you've
Mhm.
cheated. No, no, and nobody's gonna be perfect. You're gonna think, period, because we're at least we're supposed to be free and thinking people. So if we
Mhm.
can't be free and we can't think, that's another problem right there.
Mhm. Well, see, my thing with that, and I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna go to Rico, then we're gonna circle around. I see our guest is here as well. We got a guest that's gonna be with us in just a few minutes. Thing with that is because, and you're absolutely right when you say, everybody's gonna fall short. That's common. Everybody's gonna fall short. But at the same time, I don't think that we should go out there and do certain things just because of the fact, or use that as an excuse or a crutch. And think we could just do the things we want to do because of the fact that we are going to fall short. I think we should put some kind of effort into doing what is right. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, that's one of the things that really probably stood out to me when it comes to this religion thing. You know, it's a certain amount of strictness, and to me, illogical thought process that goes with wanting to make sure you don't do the wrong things. The thought is a
Mm-hmm.
sin. I was like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me if somebody disrespect me and hurt me and I think to do something bad to them because they hurt my family member, but I don't go through it, it's still a sin and I'm supposed to go and repent? Oh God,
Might
I
as well
just
do it.
thought
Might as
about
well do it.
hurting somebody that hurting my child. I didn't do it, but forgive me for thinking about getting some revenge. That don't add up to me. But for out of respect for people that religion have made better, I can understand that. So stick to
Mm-hmm.
that script. But me, I'm not going to sit back and look at you as a sinner or a cheater because you thought about it. I might take note of it, the fact that I realize that you have an attraction and you don't think I realize you have an attraction, but I'm human and I know you do because guess what? I got a couple of attractions too.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when we together and we out holding hands and we in public and I pass by this woman, I still get this feeling in my stomach and she don't even know who I am. Or maybe she does. But oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, that is a bad woman. And you can't help it. And then, and I was thinking about the conversation earlier about thinking about somebody when you haven't said it. I did that same thing one time before. in a relationship. And see, the part about being human is that sometimes we get comfortable and get in a routine with people, and once you get used to them and get comfortable, sometimes it ain't as easy to just let it go, because it would be uncomfortable for them to be out of their house. You might not be getting along with this spouse, but at the same time, y'all might be dependent on each other. That's another reason why you might be so comfortable with this person, because y'all going in half with the bills. Y'all got all alone together. So once y'all got tied in and invested with each other, now you got to stay with him, because he might not want to pay his part, or might not want to pay her part. So now the relationship is on thin ice. Now they see you looking at somebody else, or you starting to cheat. So that can be a problem where you are with somebody and fantasizing about another person that you're having sex with, because number one, you trying not to cheat. Now, I ain't getting along with this joker, but I'm gonna try to remain faithful in this relationship. And as you are in a relationship, even in the Bible, it says that you are supposed to consummate your marriage or whatever, because that is room for divorce, if I ain't mistaken. So now the woman might say, well, I don't want a divorce. Man might say, I don't want a divorce. And they dealing with each other as a convenience, but not out of affection. So, for you to perform, you might have to fantasize about Beyonce or the next door neighbor. Some people fantasize about the girl next door.
Wow. There's a lot of different layers tied into this thing here. There's a lot of layers tied into this whole cheating thing. And I asked the question, man, what constitutes cheating? Is it mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually? Or is all of this tied up in the same ball of clay and is molded together to make this thing called cheating? Let me go to on Tucson. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I wanted to uh, just take another punch at this thing, because I got to echo somewhere. Every once in a while, I'll say something kind of, because I like joking and clowning, and then there are some women, I don't have to mean no harm, but every once in a while, just like, for instance, I'll say something to Cassandra, I may say something to Toya. I don't mean any harm. I don't mean any harm.
Yeah.
But if I if my companion, wife, or however you want to call it, feels some kind of way about that, then I'm wrong as two left shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me just share experience with you, and I'm trying to be brief because we're out of time. Unfortunately, I had to go through my phone. And at the time, I was having second thoughts about the relationship. When I have second thoughts about a relationship, I'm on my way out of it. I'm kind of like a limit.
Yeah.
When I ain't gonna be, you ain't gonna catch me half done, because I'm complete. So if I'm done with you, there are other women in the world. Okay, so in the midst of all of that going on, they decide to go through my phone. And in going through my phone, which that's a no. Please do not do that. But that's on you. Because I'm not going to go through your phone.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to find out anything. That's the first thing. Be careful what you look for, because you might find it.
You might find it. And
okay?
that's something.
But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's my grandma used to tell me all the time. Don't go looking for something. You might just find. Don't go looking for it. Don't go searching.
And you might not like what you see.
Come on.
Yeah. You better believe it. So behind that, I was having a conversation because I'm having such a thought. So I'm home.
Wow.
The conversation was, kind of like, okay, hey, hi, I'm doing okay. Another year, okay, da. What I'm trying to say is, in their mind, I'm cheating on them. In my mind, I'm moving on. But if I'm gonna stay in a relationship, what I'm gonna have to do is apologize.
Yeah.
Fix it. Get rid of that conversation and stop it.
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
can't continue it on and do two things. I'm
Hmm.
just saying.
That's right. That's right. Tiffany, what's on your heart?
You know, we're
Now hold on.
humans.
When,
What? What I
when,
say? What I do?
no, 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 no. When you took that breath like that, boy, you made me a little cautious when you took that breath. Now, go ahead, though. Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to be good. No, I'm trying to be good. I
Okay.
think, I think a lot of people just aren't like really emotionally or mentally ready to be in relationships and stuff because people doing the most, going through phones, checking social media and stuff like that. I don't even like people enough to be doing all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got to do all that, you don't need to be with the person
Yeah.
because you have a problem with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, like I said with my ex-husband, I asked him straight up, even though I knew in my soul he was cheating, but I'm gonna let him give me the answer. And
Mm-hmm.
then when the truth presents itself, I'll deal with it. But to
Mm-hmm.
ask a person questions and then they give you the answer and you think they're lying or whatever, and you going back and forth, why? Because you already got it in your mind that they're cheating. So the question is that you have to ask yourself, what are you going to do about it? You either
Mm-hmm.
going to stay or you going to leave. And in my situation, I stayed. I knew I wanted to divorce him, but I didn't want to be one of those people that go leave and come back because I have children involved. So I waited 3 years and then I filed those papers and I moved on and I left. And my children, I didn't put them in the middle, making them feel guilty and all that other stuff that a lot of parents do, manipulating the whole situation. This is what it is. I love you. He loves you. We just can't be with each other,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we're still a family. But a lot of adults handle relationships in childish ways, and they don't need to be in relationships with anybody because they don't even know how to be in a relationship with themselves.
Exactly. Exactly. Good deal. Cassandra.
Yeah, I agree with what almost with what everyone has been saying. I just I went through it. I know what cheating can do to a family. And my thing is, I've never been a person, never, ever have I cheated in a relationship. Ever,
Mm-hmm.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in it. I've had it done to me. I stayed in a relationship too long, as far as I'm concerned, because I wanted to try to make it work. No one wants to feel like a failure. And when the other person is cheating, sometimes it makes that person feel like, okay, what is wrong with me? What have I done? And that's the way some partners want you to feel. They
Mm-hmm.
want you to feel like you've done something, even though you may have done everything in your power to, to do right. If a person cheats, they cheat because they want to cheat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. Don't make no excuse. Oh, she ain't doing this and he ain't doing. No, you can talk about what is going on, but for you to just go cheat, no, you wanted to go out there and cheat.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Toy, you want to talk to me, sis?
Yeah. So, right. So I can't see your thoughts.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So when we talking
Mm-hmm.
about God,
Mm-hmm.
he said what he said. It is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? If you tell your child something, whether they think you know or not, you still told them to do something. And whether you say something to them about it or not, they know what you told them not to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we can try to keep this and play it all if you want to with the Father, but it is what he said it is. But let's come on back down to earth because we got grace and we get to do what we want to do. And we know what we're talking about again. Again, most of us are fornicators. So we don't even want to begin to think about Lord God's rule. Because we break that every day willingly and don't think nothing else about it and make up excuses that we do it other than knowing that it's his grace. So back to earth. Don't you want to know if she thought about robbing you
Mm.
while we playing? Talk about what people thought. Now I want to know what you really think. I don't want to know how you're playing. I don't want you sleeping with me because you want to use me for something. I don't want you sticking with me, standing around acting like you love me when it's really because of what you can get out of me. No, I need to know what you really think. And however it's revealed to me, hell yeah, I'm a snooper. Excuse me. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Because see, with me, sometimes I'm just doing me. But something in my gut say, stop, check this, check that. I'm finna get Inspector Gadget. And trust me, I done asked you about it and you done lied. Because most people ain't gonna be 100. Now I'm gonna this here partner. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna love you, right? But if I feel like doing something else, that's what I'm gonna do. And either you gonna rock with it or roll with it. Either way, it don't make me no difference because I'm doing me, right? And what I had to do was not uh I had to stop doing that. I'm a female. God didn't create me to do that, whether I'm being honest about it or not. And men went with it. I love you. You so good to me. It don't make a difference what you do. I had to realize that's not the right thing to do. And it was still wrong, even if I was being honest. Everybody was okay with it. That's not what I do. That was a lack of self-control with sex. Oh, I just couldn't help myself. He so this or whatever it was. I was telling myself, lack of self-control. A real adult don't do that. I'm not gonna be on the phone. I'm not gonna be thinking about nobody else. I'm not gonna be with you thinking about somebody else to get through the night. You're gonna get out from around me before we do that. A real adult has self-control. And no, I can't be with you. Dang, you look good. You lucky I'm married. But this is, some people are sensitive, some people are not. And however it is for each individual, that's what it is for them. You understand what I'm saying? Some people are not that sensitive. They got swingers out here, for goodness sake. And that's cool with them. That's not cool for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They got people who, they be on Facebook, social media together, look at her butt. Oh, yeah, baby, look at her butt. Oh, they just text me that I got a number. Okay, that's cool for you. But my men, they know they can't tell me that. They gonna tell the woman, look here, let me say something. You call my girl, tell her that you shoot with me, she gonna kill both of us. So please don't do that. That wouldn't be in your best interest. But that's just me. You understand what I'm saying? So again, we got different takes, and however each personal feeling is about this issue on what is cheating or what is not, that's each individual personal discretion. As for me and my house, we're going to be 100 to the, I'm not looking for perfection, but we're going to try to be adults to the best of our ability. And we're going to know that we don't be on social media texting and doing all that to people. It's just, that's outside the rules of the game. Exactly. We don't go out to lunch and date people. You know what I'm saying? There's just rules of the game that we know are right according to our game. And we got to follow it and stop acting like we don't know no better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm looking at the clock right now, man. We could go on with this thing for the rest of the broadcast. We really can, and probably do a couple of more shows on it as well. But we do have a guest. We have a guest today, and we're gonna get the guest in right now. We're gonna talk to her. She's giving us this time to have a conversation with her, and I definitely appreciate it, and appreciate her for allowing us this opportunity. Let's welcome our guest, y'all. This is Miss Lisa Marie Bristol.
Good morning.
Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I am doing well. Again, I want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to talk to you. We've been working on this thing for a minute, and we got it together, and so that's a great thing. And thank you for being with us. I want to take this opportunity right now, if you don't mind, and introduce yourself to our listening audience, and tell them just a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Thank you so much. I want to say good morning to everyone on the show. It's a pleasure to join you this morning. My name is Lisa Marie Bristol. I am a local attorney here in Gwinnett County. I'm currently a senior assistant district attorney in DeKalb County, and I am a candidate running for Gwinnett County Solicitor General. I actually qualified this week to be on your May 24th Democratic ballot, seeking the nomination to be the next Solicitor General of Gwinnett County. A little bit about me. My husband and I have lived here in Gwinnett County since 2011. I'm a mom of three. We have 3 kids in the Gwinnett County Public Schools, one in each of the schools in our cluster. I'm a proud graduate of Georgia State College of Law. Go Panthers. I actually spent some time as a public defender for several years before transitioning into prosecution. And I do a lot of different things. I'm an adjunct professor at Georgia State Law, teaching second-year law students, which I absolutely love. And I'm a senior assistant district attorney, like I said. But we attend Berean Christian Church, Gwinnett. And my primary job is really to be my children's chauffeur and kind of get them around to do what they need to do and keep them engaged. But that's just a little snapshot about me.
Good deal. Good deal. And you said in that, and I'm gonna dig into that, and we're gonna go around the panel. Everybody ask you different questions as well, if you're okay with that, and
Sure.
also open up the phone lines, just in case somebody want to call in and ask questions as well. What is it about what you do that's more pleasing than anything else you've ever done in regards to your profession?
Okay, well, the Solicitor General, let's be clear, is the elected prosecutor that handles all prosecutions in state court and recorder's court. And that means anyone who's charged with a misdemeanor, a traffic offense, or a county ordinance, their case would be handled through that office in Gwinnett County. It's a county-wide seat. On the flip side, if you are a victim of one of those crimes, so if you are a small business owner and your shop is stolen from, or if you're the victim of domestic violence, you would also receive your resources through that office. I love the work that I do. I currently handle serious violent felonies as a senior assistant district attorney, but I've worked on both sides. I've done everything from traffic offenses to murder as both a public defender and as a prosecutor. What I love most about the office that I'm seeking is at the Solicitor General level, which I did for just over 4 years. You really have a chance to set people on the right course. This is really your opportunity to break that cycle. This is the opportunity where, for a lot of times, it's youthful offenders, or it's people who've made silly mistakes or desperate mistakes. This is really your opportunity to see that people maybe have made poor choices and the stakes aren't so high that you don't have options to really help correct the behavior. And so I find this work really gratifying because you really have an opportunity. You can hold people accountable, but you can still help them in a way that they're left in a better position than when you found them. A lot of felonies, your hands are kind of tied, right? I've handled a lot of gang cases and armed robbery cases and home invasion cases. And I mean, with an armed robbery, that's 10 years in prison.
Yes.
Like to the door. And that's statutory, right? So someone commits an armed robbery, they're going to prison for likely at least 10 years. And not only that, your victim is likely very traumatized. They've been through a lot. But if someone commits a shoplifting, I have more wiggle room, right? I can figure out, is this an undereducation problem? Is this a substance abuse problem? Is this a job training problem? We can probably get in there and figure out a program or figure something out to still hold them accountable for the shoplifting, which is important, still get that restitution for the shop owner, but at the same time, maybe set them on the right course so that they don't come back and do it again. And so I guess that glimmer of hope in the Solicitor General's office is what I like the most.
Absolutely. You said that you've worked on both sides, the prosecutor and the defense. And this is an individual answer. There's no right or wrong answer for this. But which is more rewarding for you? Which side?
Honestly, the prosecution is more rewarding for me because the prosecutor has more power. It's why I became a prosecutor. As a public defender, no matter how hard I fought, or no matter how reasonable my request was to the prosecutor, at the end of the day, if the prosecutor said no, I didn't really have anywhere to go, right? So, for instance, I would have a case, and I remember having several cases where the prosecutor I would say to the prosecutor, hey, my client admits their guilt. They admit that they've done wrong. They want to take accountability. They want to plead guilty. They accept the terms except for condition number 3. Number 3 is something that they can't manage for whatever reason, transportation, finances, childcare, whatever the barrier was. If the prosecutor didn't care, or if the prosecutor said, no, I'm not going to budge off of that one condition, that could tank the entire plea, right? The judge didn't necessarily back me, depending on what jurisdiction you're in. Judges can be great. They could be harder. They could lean more towards the state. They could lean more towards the defense. We have a great bench here in Gwinnett. I never did defense work here in Gwinnett, but it really just depended. Your best bet was to have a reasonable prosecutor. And it occurred to me, no matter how great my negotiation skills are, if the prosecutor just says no, I'm stuck. And I just got really tired of that. And so I switched sides. And I realized, I could just go to the table and just be the reasonable voice. And so a lot of times I can just say, here's my bottom line. Here's what I can do, and have that conversation. Because a lot of times you'll have people come into court and they'll say things like, I want a jury trial. And you'll be like, it's for a stop sign. You ran a stop sign. Ma'am, what happened? Let's talk about this. And in that conversation, it turns out it's not about wanting a jury trial. It's not about that issue. It's something else. It's they don't want the fine, or they're angry about the interaction with the officer, or they're angry that the car in front of them also ran through the stop sign. How come they're the ones who got stopped? And you have a conversation. As the prosecutor, you can have those conversations with them. You have that discretion to do what you think is right, or what you hope is right, what you hope is just. And so now, don't get me wrong, being a defense attorney was fun. You can have a lot of fun. But in terms of actually being able to affect change in my community, I really appreciate the work I can do as a prosecutor.
How intense is the negotiations between the defense and the prosecutor?
It does. Okay, so I'm a little different. I don't take this personally. I know that might be weird to people, but I deal with so many cases. It can't be personal. Each case is a case. And so what people need to remember is I can't afford to implode a professional relationship with an attorney over a single case, knowing that we might have 3 or 4 right behind it. So sometimes things get heated. Absolutely. Sometimes people have really strong opinions. But at the end of the day, my goal is always to remain professional. My goal is always to remember that, hey, I'm going to have to continue working, and the legal community is very small. A lot of us have rotated. There's a lot of us who have been to multiple different offices, and we go around and we practice in front of, different judges. And so the goal is always to remain professional. Some are better at that than others, and not take it personally. You can be a zealous advocate and still be a professional and considerate person, is my opinion. I've never burned a bridge.
How do you envision yourself making a difference in what you're about to step into?
Well, one thing that I definitely want to see us do, I'm a part of this year's Leadership Gwinnett class. And one of the best experiences, I can say every month that we go into our learning month, we're just learning about all of these amazing organizations and resources and groups and servants throughout Gwinnett County. And what I see is Gwinnett County has an amazing resource of people who want us to thrive. And I would love to see us come together in a more effective way and tapping into that. What do I mean by that? I mean, like, there are so many programs where people need, people to enter the workforce. We have all this workforce training, but we don't have people to put into the workforce, right? So if I have, people coming to the office who are charged with shoplifting and their issue is job insecurity, and I can be like, hey, I can send you up to Goodwill to their workforce training program. And as part of your probation, I need you to be a part of this program. So now I'm not just putting you on probation saying, good luck, go find a job. I'm actually giving you the tools to hopefully make you successful in your job search, in your job training, helping you to not just telling you to do it, not just telling you to go fish. I'm showing you how and
Absolutely.
giving you the tools to do it.
Absolutely.
So I envision trying to bring those things more together and to tap into those resources so that we can work smarter and not harder, and work more collaboratively. We have a lot of great leaders in our county, and I think it would be beneficial for all of us, even if we don't always agree with one another, to be able to sit at the table and figure out, well, what's best for Gwinnett County as a whole.
Absolutely. 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 I'm going to go around and give, because we have quite a few people that's here on a part of the team here, and I'm going to open up the floor to them to ask you different questions if that's okay.
Absolutely. It's why I'm here.
Good deal. Leonard?
Yes. What do you believe, what do you want to change in your profession that you have seen from practice in courtrooms? You know, various attorneys. I'm an activist, and we go after certain things that we just do not like, or that's we believe is unfair. What is something that you want to change that you see that is really causing a lot of unnecessary problems for people?
So, just one thing? Okay.
Just one.
So many. Okay, one thing. Well, one thing I definitely want to see change. One thing that breaks my heart is when I see a young person come into court alone, who doesn't think it's a big deal because it's a misdemeanor, and they just enter a plea, and they don't have a parent or a guardian or anyone there to advise them, and they just don't understand the ramifications. And then there's nobody on the state side to necessarily inform them, hey, this is a much bigger deal than just a fine and maybe some probation. What I want to see change is I want to see us being more intentional about keeping people out of the system. And by that, I mean, I want to see us being more intentional about before those charges are even filed, front loading. If this is someone who is eligible for a program, if this is someone who's eligible to go into diversion, or if this is something that we have problems, if this is a case that there's a problem with it, let's front load that. What people don't realize is that even filing charges can impact somebody's criminal history, even if it ultimately ends in a dismissal or an acquittal. And what people also don't realize is even a misdemeanor conviction, even though we always talk about felonies, and if you are a felony conviction or things like that, but misdemeanors have a huge impact on people's lives. They impact job applications, housing applications, school loans, accessibility to the military. And so there's so many other things that we don't realize. So what I would love to see change, I would love to see us being more intentional at the front end of these cases to make sure that we are actually pouring our resources into charging the cases that need to be charged and diverting the ones that don't. Because the reality is, like, some of these cases, like, just picking one randomly, like a loitering outside of a gas station, right? So, well, how are you loitering? Is this like, let's be intentional about evaluating that. Is this something where you are actually trying to commit a crime, or is this something where, you know, you were standing there at the wrong place at the wrong time and you got caught up in something? And is that something that, is it justice to saddle you with a criminal history because of it? Or is this something that we can put you in a diversion program and redirect you so maybe you understand that whatever you may have been engaged in is not the best use of your time, and use this as a teachable moment as opposed to possibly disenfranchising you from future opportunities. So that is something I really want to see us do, because the impact, the collateral damage of these cases can be incredibly crippling. And it's so much easier if we catch it on the front end rather than trying to go after the fact and do these expungements. Like, these expungement things, they're fantastic, don't get me wrong. But if we can do it at the beginning before they then face years and years of hurdles and door closures and all of that, I would much prefer that, because they don't have all those setbacks to begin with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Curtis? Curtis, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, right.
Do you have a question?
Yeah.
Well, first, let me say thank you. You know what I mean? Because it takes a special person to do what you're gonna do. My question is, what what is your take on, or how do you feel about, or justifiable? What's your take on qualified immunity?
He said your take on qualified immunity.
Qualified immunity for like police officers?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's a tough one. Well, I will say this. Um, as the solicitor, that's not something I would likely deal with because, generally speaking, if qualified immunity comes into play, it is dealing with felony cases. I would say that immunity as a whole doesn't just apply to police officers, which is also something people don't realize. Immunity options are for everyone. We have an immunity statute that applies to every single person. So everyone who uses force to defend themselves or their property or a loved one has the opportunity to file an immunity motion and say, I was justified in using this force because I reasonably believed that it was necessary. And so I will say it's a tough call because anybody, when going through anything, you make the best call that you can in that time, right? And what do we call it? Monday morning quarterbacking. When we look
Yes.
back at a
Absolutely.
game
Absolutely.
and we can see it from different vantage points and different angles, like, oh, he should have made this pass or he could have made that turn or what have you. It's always so much easier when you, from a calmer point, can look at something from the outside looking in without all of the other factors coming into play. And that's a tough one because I think everyone has been in a situation where, in hindsight, you may have done things differently, but in that moment, you do the best you can.
Yeah.
So, what I'll say is qualified immunity or immunity as a whole is something that's accessible to every single citizen, every single person. Anybody who does anything has that option to them. It does apply to misdemeanors and felonies under 16.323. And it's a tough one because it's always hard to go in after the fact and say, well, I can see something different than you saw. But in that moment, you know, I would have done it differently, but we don't know. I will say that our law enforcement in Gwinnett County, GCPD, we have some of the best law enforcement officers here in Gwinnett County. Our police academy here in Gwinnett County, I was like the general academy standards are, I think you have to do whatever the standards are across the board. Gwinnett County has more than doubled it for their personal academy, which is what people don't always realize, right? So I think you have to go through. I don't want to lie and say, but let's just say the regular standard is 3 months to get through the police academy. For Gwinnett County, it's just over 6 months. They have more than doubled their training protocol. Everything for like state certification across the board, Gwinnett has exceeded that in order to get through their academy. For qualifying for shooting, you have to do that once a year for state standards. You have to do that once a quarter for Gwinnett County. Gwinnett County pours a lot of resources into training their officers, into ensuring that they have the most up-to-date training, teachers, instructors. And so we have a great police force. It's not perfect, but I know Chief McClure is doing a fantastic job. They are understaffed, and they are filling those holes as quickly as they can and as best they can, but they are not dropping their standards in doing so. So I thank them for their service and I thank them for their commitment to excellence, and they're striving for that. So I will say, I have a lot of confidence in our police department, and I'm grateful to say we haven't had, at my last check, we haven't had a lot of incidents where we've had to worry too much about that, at least here in Gwinnett County. But again, for immunity, I would say it's accessible to everyone and it's a reasonable person standard.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Toya, you have a question?
So yes, as so it sounds like the program that you guys have out there for someone who would happen to get themselves into legal trouble is more about, you know, recognition, uh, other than just punishment, which is a good thing. But how easy was that, I guess, transition? And I guess I need to say thank you too for trying to set a precedent on, I guess, correcting the issues and having justice within heart and trying to get to the root of the problem, because that's what it sounds like. But when you decided, or when Gwinnett County was faced with this opportunity, how easy was it? How welcoming was it getting people to go along with that?
So I'll say I'm not there yet. I'm not in the office yet. I'm running to take over the office. And when I was in the district attorney's office, I had a lot of discretion as an ADA. And so I was able to put people into a diversion program as long as they met the criteria at my discretion. So every single file that came across my desk that was part of my caseload, anybody who was eligible for diversion, I put into diversion. To me, there's no harm in giving them that opportunity, because worst case scenario, if they don't succeed in diversion, then I can go through the process of charging the case or indicting the case and then going through the regular process. So to me, I always feel like there's no harm in at least giving them the opportunity to try the diversion route. We are seeing a shift in, I think, overall in our country. We're definitely seeing a shift where people are realizing that this whole, hardcore, tough on crime, throw the hammer at people thing is not working. We're seeing it. This whole scare them straight, lock them up for 30 days, and then they'll never do wrong again. It doesn't work. We need to be more intentional about how we address issues. We do need to address root causes. I tell people, I have 3 children. My husband and I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. They have the same mother, they have the same father, they grew up in the same house, and as similar circumstances as you can possibly ask for. All 3 of my children are very different when it comes to discipline. They're very different in terms of how we have to approach them when it comes to discipline and correction. And if I can't correct and discipline my 3 children the same way, how in the world are we supposed to approach the entire criminal justice system the same?
Absolutely.
It just doesn't make sense. And so we have to get away from that cookie cutter thought, and we have to be more intentional and just take a moment and step back and think, how are we going to approach this so that we're actually making a meaningful impact? And so, yeah, you're right. We may have some impact. We may have some pushback. There may be some people who think this is a waste of time, and I don't want you to be a social worker. I want you to be a prosecutor, and this is the way we've always done it. But that's why your local vote matters. And that's why we need you to go to the polls on May 24th and elect Lisa Marie Bristol as your next Solicitor General. That's why you need to be engaged in what's happening on your local politics level. Because I think it's important that our local electeds reflect the values of our community. And I think our community is saying we understand that this concept of lock them up to teach them a lesson doesn't do anything except further damage people. So let's try something else. If that worked, it would have worked by now, right?
That's right. That's right. And we got quite a few people that's here. Some here in Georgia. We have people from across the United States that's actually on board with us right now. And so some of the questions may not come specifically from Georgia, maybe from different places. Like Curtis, he's actually in Baltimore. And we have people, and I just want to let you know that not everybody is actually from this particular area. Let me go to Rico, and Rico is actually in Mississippi. Rico, you have a question?
Man, I ain't no Mississippi. I'm in Alabama, man.
Well, same thing, same place. They're the same place. They just got a line between the two of them.
Well, Georgia too. I guess I'm from Georgia too.
Yes,
just
sir.
A little line.
Atlanta. Yes, sir.
I heard what she was saying, and it sounded to me like she realizes that there's a huge problem with children getting caught up in the judicial system, and there's nothing in place to prevent these vulnerable children from even being exposed to it. So, what does she suggest? You know, because she said she's not a social worker, but because I heard what she said about parents not being able to chastise the children, but then you have some children that the parents are the worst bullies, the custodial parents, the most neglectful, and so they don't have resources to fall back on. And then by the time they do get caught up on the resources that's in place for them is set up by the investors in prisons or the judicial system that they get ran through and they can't appeal to get out of. So, what is it that she sees that can actually at an earlier age, maybe in this elementary school program, to sort of prevent the I'm gonna say prevent the atmosphere that creates these children that are in the court system?
That's a fantastic question. So I think in a perfect world, parents would be engaged, right? My husband and I are in our children's school all the time. I spent 2 years plus as chairperson of local school council at our elementary school, involved in all of our children's schools and their activities. But that's not for everyone, and nor is it an option for everyone. But what I think is important is community involvement and communication and education. What I would love to see happening is just like those partnerships I was talking about at the beginning, there are different community organizations and mentorship programs. The Greek organizations try and be very involved. There are mentoring programs. Like I know my oldest son is involved in a mentoring program with the Alphas, and they actually pull kids out of the schools. They meet on Saturdays. So we need to have these conversations with our kids we generally start in middle school, because what we need them to know is we need them to know their options. And we need them to understand the parameters of the criminal justice system. I usually do talks with my church youth group, because a lot of times young people don't understand the impact of even getting in the car with people and not understanding, hey, if you take a ride with a friend and you don't realize the foolishness your friend might have underneath their driver's seat, that you could get caught up with the charges.
Yeah.
And so just educating people. And again, having people like you who care, who come out and have community events where we're able to reach and communicate with children. Sometimes it's on weekends, sometimes it's at churches, sometimes it's at community centers. And it can be challenging and it's frustrating, because not, like you said, not every parent has the resources or the wherewithal to do this. But we still got to try. Middle schools are a little bit easier, like I said, to have the mentoring programs. A lot of them do have them. And they separate the young men from the young ladies in these mentoring programs. And so there's usually quite a few opportunities for community members after they go through their proper background checks and things like that to be involved in these programs and engage with our young people so that they have at least that source of positive reinforcement and education in their lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Lisa Marie, how much time do we have with you?
I'm here for the morning. You're good to go.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Are you having yourself?
I am.
Good deal. Good deal. Mike said he had a question. Mike, what's your question, brother? Unmute yourself. Oh, he hit the wrong button. Tiffany, you have a question?
Hi, good morning. So when do you start going out to the public when you know that you wanna I'm old, so my brain I lose my train of thought. When I do it, this whole thing, man, they need to rewind the tape, boy, because this is messed up. When you know that you're gonna run for office, how soon do you go out and start talking to the people? Because for me, I believe in starting locally and working your way up. But it seems like in a lot of instances, you don't even know who the candidate is until close. Because I feel like, well, you probably may not know like 2 years before or 4 years prior, but as soon as you know, you need to be out there, because I feel like a lot of people want to participate in the voting system, but they're not educated enough about politics alone itself, let alone the candidate. And then it's like a rush to judgment. And then, you know, us, a lot of people gonna vote for you just because you black. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So for me, I've been campaigning now for just over a year.
Okay.
And it is definitely a marathon, not a sprint. And so I go out as often as I can. I'm still working full time. So I still have a full time position. And I also teach at the law school, one course for this semester. And I'm still a mom, and I'm still a wife. And so I'm still juggling quite a few things. But I try and get out to as many community events as I can. I've been on the campaign trail for just over a year. And so that's been a combination of meeting different community people. And you're right, a big part of this process has been educating people about the role of the Solicitor General, why they should care, why they should be engaged. We were waiting until we didn't have our finite election dates until, with everything with redistricting and the census. This was a big year, especially here in Gwinnett County. So we just got new maps signed into law just a couple weeks ago. So there were also a couple of things that just weren't finalized for us. So we didn't necessarily, I think we were a little bit behind this year just because of that process as well. But because mine is a county-wide seat, so anyone who lives anywhere in Gwinnett County, as long as you pull a Democratic ticket, my name will be on there. You just got to keep scrolling to the bottom. So I've been campaigning for about a year.
Well, my two daughters are Panthers. I have a daughter that graduated with a bachelor's in psychology, and my baby girl, she's a nursing student. So go Panthers.
Go. I have a bachelor's in psychology as well.
And I know she look like she's about 17 years old, but yeah, she do have, But let me ask you this question. I'm gonna go around. Got some more people that want to ask questions. How have redistricting, how does that affect you as a candidate? Candidates, how does it affect?
So my race is not affected by redistricting because, again, mine is a county-wide seat. So I have the entire county. However, it does affect our county as a whole because some people are really discouraged by it. Some people are really, they're finding themselves in a district now represented by someone who does not at all represent the values that they have. Or they're really frustrated because they feel really disenfranchised because how like this new line has come and cut up their neighborhood. We have historic neighborhoods that are being decimated by these new gerrymandered lines. It's very frustrating. Plus the way the whole process went down for people who followed it was just ugly, right? We had the Democratic Party who held these town halls that were very open and transparent. They had these very open forums saying, come and tell us what you think. They had a nonpartisan evaluation of the maps that they came up with. And then at the 11th hour, the Republican Party came in and swooped in these very unbalanced, really gerrymandered maps. And so it's frustrating. I mean, my commissioner switched overnight. They cut up the promised land. That's a historic Black community here in South Gwinnett. And now their power has been cut in half. That's huge, right?
Yeah.
So for communities like that, they might feel, when you have a whole community that as a whole could get behind a single candidate, a single representative, a single senator, and say, we as a community want this person to represent us. And now these maps have come and cut their power in half. And it's frustrating, right?
Very.
So for me personally, it has shifted some of my races for where I live. Me as a candidate, it hasn't impacted me because, again, it's a countywide seat. My hope is that rather than get frustrated and stay home, that we as Democrats, that we as voters, that we as local people and community members get out and vote even more, because that is our strongest power, is to vote.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
No. Go ahead. Finish your thoughts, sis.
Yeah, it's just it's something it's what outs me all the time, because I can tell you, my family and I have been worshiping at our church. We go to Berean Christian Church, Gwinnett. We've been there for just over 10 years. And I often don't, well, before campaigning, I often did not disclose that I'm an attorney. And so people would just meet me and know that I'm Lisa Marie. I'm in the music ministry, or I'm Cairo's mom, or whatever. And until local elections would come around, and I would get on my soapbox and they'd be like, "Oh, I don't think I'm gonna bother." I'm like, "No, this is why you need to care." And then they'd be like, "Well, why do you know all this?" And I'm like, "Oh, surprise."
Yeah, exactly. Now, music ministry, do you sing?
I do.
Now, don't let us do it to you now. Don't let us do it to you.
I am not singing on this program this morning.
Okay. Mike, you had a question, Mike?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. I hit the back button and backed out everything. I'm
Okay.
listening to what she's saying, and believe it or not, y'all have no clue what she just said. Her heart is in the right place. I'm not disagreeing with anything she's saying, because as a police officer in Atlanta for 16 years, even with the basic traffic accident, I got a question for her too. When you give somebody a ticket, I've explained to people, especially when both parties are cool, it's a minor accident. Hey, you don't need to plead out to this thing. You need to go to court. You need to let them know, hey, I have insurance. That person's vehicle has been taken care of. Here's communication. We've been talking on the phone. Everything's taken care of, because you may try to get a job in the future when they look at your driving record. So as far as her saying, hey, you don't need to just be walking in this courtroom, and I've seen it too, and she's seen it 1,000 times. You have people who are so intimidated when they walk in that courtroom, they just want to hurry up, plead, and get out. They're not thinking about down the road, around the corner. They're not thinking about where their life may take them. And they don't realize, just like she said, it doesn't always have to be a felony. It doesn't always have to be a DUI or a domestic violence. It can be something as minor as a simple misdemeanor that cuts you out of opportunities in the future. So my question to her is this, because she sounds like she got it going on. So how does she feel about, because I see that at Atlanta, at least in Fulton County, our system is overloaded with less than we need to be concerned with this cases. How does she feel about the prosecution of habitual or repeat offenders as well as violent offenders? Because that, to me, is what we need to be focused on. All this other stuff, if ain't nobody hurt, if ain't nobody injured, if ain't nobody dead, we need to kind of push that stuff to the side. And like she said, that's when you get into the more so holistic or even just simply education, and we don't need to be bothered with all that. So how she feel about that as far as the serious crimes go, the real issues?
Good deal.
So my approach to that is, and thank you for that question, Mike. I think my approach to that is we have to triage our resources, because you're absolutely correct. I did a brief stint in City of Atlanta Municipal Court, and so he is not lying when he talks about volume. We have to be good stewards of our resources. And the reality is we cannot treat all of these traffic cases like federal cases. We don't have the resources to do it. And COVID has just amplified that issue. We need to be able to look at these cases and figure out, what do we need to be pouring our resources into? What do we need to be sending our investigators out to pull stuff on? And what do we need to let go? And I'm not saying it's a free for all. I'm not saying people just run free, but I'm saying if two people come to court and they have reached resolve, and there is something that has been taken care of, we don't need to hold on to every single thing. We need to use our discretion, and we need to operate with common sense, because that's not justice, right? The solicitor's office is a volume business. And so we can't, if we're taking every single traffic case and like, this is a federal case, this has to go, we have to try it to the whole 9 yards, we're not leaving the resources we need to focus on those bad domestic violence cases. And these domestic violence cases, these family violence cases where we're seeing violence in the homes, violence in front of these children, violence in front of, these vulnerable people, these elder abuse cases, those are cases where we can actually save lives. These are cases where we can actually change the trajectory of somebody's life. And that we need to focus our resources there. DUI cases where people are chronically driving down the street under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or other, and they could kill somebody. You could innocently be, driving down the street, trying to get to work, trying to get to your child, and you're hit by a drunk driver. We need to get those people off the roads.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we need to be smart, and we need to be sensible with our resources. Again, we can hold people accountable without backlogging the entire system. Everything doesn't have to grind to a halt. So we definitely have to find. Now, I don't have all of the answers, but I'm willing to sit down at the table and bring people together to figure out a better way to do it. Because, like I said, if what we were doing before worked, it would have worked by now. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, let me ask you this question. How long have you been in law enforcement?
I have been practicing since 2009.
Okay.
So I spent the first 4 years as on the public defender side, and then I've been a prosecutor ever since.
Okay. In the time that you've been in law enforcement, what is the one thing, if you could point the finger at one thing that surprised you most about it, what was it?
I think one thing that has really surprised me, at how easy it is, the callousness that some people throw away other people's lives. Like it's very callous, and like they're like it's without even a second thought. I saw a judge once revoke a woman to prison for 7 years for stealing a $7 ham.
Wow.
And that was a lot. That was a hard day for me. It wasn't my case, it wasn't my client, but I was in court when it happened. And it was like he was very callous about it. He was just like, well, you've obviously not learned anything, and I don't know what else to do with you, so I'm just going to revoke the balance. And it was a $7 ham from the local grocery store. And it was undisputed that it was out of desperation to feed her children. And it was undisputed, and it was just like, surely we must understand that if this woman had any other options,
yes,
she would not have done this. And I don't see how taking her from her children and sending her to prison, and of course she wouldn't have spent the whole 7 years, but it doesn't matter. The damage is done, right? Yeah. And to think that that is your idea of a solution in any shape or form was just like, and that happened probably about 11 years ago. And it sticks with me. Yeah.
Wow. You have to have a heart somewhere, you have to have and keep a heart. Tucson is the one. I made a mistake earlier. I said Rico is from Mississippi. Tucson is actually the one that's in Mississippi. So I apologize to Rico for that. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
I have to apologize for being from Mississippi in the first place. Look at here. I was thinking about there's all of us that at some point we see things that are going on, and especially the injustice. If that makes any sense. And then as we see that, at some point in our lives, we think, I have to do something. So in you making that decision, evidently, how has the pandemic placed an impact on how you see things going forward?
Well, I would say the pandemic further exposed the problems that we had. When the pandemic hit, I was actually literally in the middle of a murder trial.
Wow.
Like halfway through
Mm-hmm.
a murder trial, trying a murder case, which ended up in a mistrial, obviously, because we could not continue. And that also haunts me because I think about my victims in that case, and I think about the work that we put into that case to try and seek justice on behalf of the multiple victims. Um, the pandemic exposed some of the weaknesses in our system. It exposed some of the inefficiencies and some of the things that we needed to learn how to do better. Um, but it also showed some of our strengths, right? And it showed some of our abilities to come together and do things and be innovative.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed those who were willing to do so.
Yeah.
Um, but it also showed those who didn't want to move the needle at all,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? You can't really hide
Yeah.
in this environment. I think this shows those who are willing to roll up their sleeves and just get the work done
Mm-hmm.
versus those who are going to be like, oh, I can't, it's COVID, I can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Versus those who are like, okay, well, what can we do in spite of?
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the benefits, if we can, about COVID is it's forced us to think outside of the box. And I think there have been some great practices that have come out of it. I think we've learned how to streamline some things in some of the different metro offices. We've picked up
Mm-hmm.
some really good streamlined practices that will likely stay around forever. We
Mm-hmm.
would have never otherwise really tapped into. This idea that we all have to herd into an office and be in our offices 40, well, 50 hours a week
Yeah.
to do things. We've realized that with the right technology, at least in my office, we've realized with the right technology and with the right dedication and commitments, we can get quite a bit done.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will also say COVID has exposed a lot of, it's bringing to the forefront a lot of burnout. I'm very
Mm-hmm.
concerned about I know Mike said he's APD for the last 16 years. I'm very concerned about our law enforcement brethren.
Yes. Yes.
They have not had a break.
Mm-hmm.
While there have been some industries who have been holed up in their houses for the last 2+ years, our law enforcement officers have not. They have been out in these streets. They
Mm-hmm.
have been out dealing with crime. They have not had a chance to stay home and be safe. Um, and at a time where it's not popular to be in law enforcement. Um, it's almost despicable. Some people have really come for them. And
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you in my position right now, I get to work directly in my precinct. And I
Mm-hmm.
get to work directly with my detectives and lieutenants and major, and it's fantastic to work right next to them. And I'm concerned. I worry about everyone's mental health through all
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay. Let me do this, and I know that's something that you're very passionate about, and I can hear it in your voice. Um, if you don't mind, take an opportunity and reintroduce yourself to everybody. There's a lot of people that's actually just coming on right now, so introduce yourself again, and then I'm gonna ask you another question.
Okay. Well, my name is Lisa Marie Bristol. I'm a local attorney here in Georgia, in Gwinnett County in particular. I'm currently a senior assistant district attorney, and I'm running to be the next Gwinnett County Solicitor General. I am a wife, a mother of 3, a professional chauffeur to my children, and I am seeking the Democratic nomination. The election is May 24th, and I'm hoping to earn your support and, most importantly, your vote. The Solicitor General is the elected prosecutor that handles all cases in state court and recorder's court, so all misdemeanors, traffic offenses, and county ordinances.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Now, let me ask you this question: with the passion that you have for what you do, how do you, how do you know to put, how do you put it down when you leave and become that wife and that mother and leave that behind? How do you separate?
Boundaries has been something I've actively had to work on over the years.
Mm-hmm.
For me, a hard limit has been crimes against children. that I've had a few really tough cases in that arena, and that's a tough one for me. Which are generally, obviously felony cases. I have a great family. I have a great support system. My kids are hilarious. My husband's a jokester. And so we do things as a family. I love my church. Whenever I can get away and have time, I'm with my church. I read. I watch silly television. I don't watch crime shows or the news. I watch The Big Bang Theory and other dorky television shows. And so I try and unplug when I can. It's not always easy. Sometimes the lines do blur, especially working from home. We're now in a space where, we're bringing some of this stuff into our homes because we're working from home. So that can be challenging, but I really try and be intentional about creating that kind of space, whether it's through my yoga practice or going for walks or bike rides with my family or my own. You just really have to try and unplug. It's not always easy, but mental health is important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good morning. This is Bishop.
Good morning, Bishop. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm great.
Good. You've been listening in? You've been listening in? Doing good. Doing good. You've been listening in?
No, brother, I haven't been listening. I've been so busy this morning. I said, man, let me give my brother a call before the show ends.
Okay.
That's how much I love you, brother.
Hey, love you as well, brother. We have a guest. I'm gonna let her introduce herself to you, and then I know I'm very sure that you're going to have a question, young lady.
Good morning, Bishop. I'm Lisa Marie Bristol. It's a pleasure to meet you. How can I help you?
Tell them what you're doing.
I'm running for Solicitor General in Gwinnett County, which is the elected prosecutor that handles all cases in state court and recorder's court. So all misdemeanors, traffic offenses, and county ordinances. I'm currently a senior assistant district attorney handling felonies, but I have worked on both sides as both a public defender and as a prosecutor at all levels, everything from traffic offenses through murder.
Bishop?
Wow, very fascinating. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. And since you spoke all that, I do have a question as it relates to teen violence. And I was looking at the news and reading it the other day about a 14-year-old that was involved in a shooting at the or going to charge, I'm not sure, with murder, but it's felony murder. How does that work in the judicial system? Is he treated as a juvenile or will he be treated as an adult?
So whether or not someone is treated, generally speaking, a felony murder by a 14-year-old, their default is they're likely going to be treated as an adult. There are some exceptions as to why they may be treated as a juvenile. I am not an expert when it comes to juvenile law. I only spent 1 year doing juvenile work. But juvenile law is a totally different, it's a very different arena. The goals there, the impacts, the objectives can be quite different. The problem with juvenile court, not problem, I don't want to say that, the challenge with juvenile court is that you have young people whose brains have not developed, who don't necessarily know, care, or understand the ramifications of their very adult behavior, who are doing things that have very adult consequences. And so you have to balance between, the very adult ramifications of their behavior and their very childlike nature. And so it's a delicate balance. Juvenile court's a really tough area, which is why I only lasted 1 year in juvenile court. That's a tough one. But generally speaking, when we're dealing with a 7 deadly, that's a meaning, armed robbery, murder. I'll spare you the other ones, but there's 7 deadlies. They're going to be treated as an adult in superior court unless there's extraordinary circumstances to treat them as a juvenile. Because if they're treated as a juvenile, the most that can happen is they can be detained for 5 years. And that's it. And you have to remember, when you're dealing with felony murder, that means somebody's life is gone. And that's a life sentence, right?
Yes.
And so You have to balance. Yes, there's a 14-year-old, and we're sad, but there's the family of the person who had to be buried. So it's a tough area.
So did I hear you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, they'll only get 5 years? So at 14 years old, at 19, they're eligible to get out and be free and live the rest of their life? Even with
Generally speaking, for juvenile cases, yeah, they can get detained for about 5 years, or generally at the max. And again, it's not my area of expertise. Juvenile is structured very differently. The point of juvenile court is to, because remember, once you're 17, you're now an adult,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So they can't maintain jurisdiction over you beyond a certain, I think once you hit 21, you're definitely out of DJJ territory. But yeah, the point of juvenile court is, restoration and rehabilitation. It's not to send you off to prison with, the grown-ups. So it's a very different structure than regular prison. So if you have a juvenile who is being treated as an adult, it's a totally different ballgame. It's a completely different situation.
Wow. Tiffany? On a whole different screen. Look at that. Look.
You know what? I gotta work too. I just don't sit around being cute. You know what I'm saying? I work. So you know how you talked about the lining, right? How they shifted everything around.
Yes.
So it makes it hard for people to want to even participate in the voting process, because it seems like every time you get a little closer, they move the goalposts, So it's clearly a race thing against Black people. So what are we as Black people to do so that we have a better opportunity?
You got to keep voting.
Let me say. Now, I'm gonna do this for you, Lisa Marie. Certain things she can't say it's a race thing, but I say it for it's a race thing. Now go ahead, Lisa Marie.
Boy, I don't have no problem saying it's a race thing, because I know it's a race thing.
No,
but
she can't.
She can't say it. I said it. That's why I said it.
Okay.
I think we can't give up. We have to keep voting. We have to keep showing up. If our voting power wasn't as powerful as it is, there would not be such a concerted effort to squash it and take it away. So we have to keep showing up to the polls. We have to keep voting. We have to keep making a plan. We have to keep checking on our neighbors to make sure that they're going to vote. We cannot lose faith. Because eventually, when I think about in 2018, we elected Judge Rhonda Colvin Leary, and she is our first Black judge on the state court bench. 200 years.
Wow.
200 years our county had been in existence. First state court judge, first Black judge elected for the whole county. That Gwinnett County is the most diverse county in the entire region, not just the state, in the entire region. And we are finally getting leadership that reflects the community that it serves. That means us showing up is making a difference.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's important. It's important that now I'm not saying everything is going to be perfect, but it matters. I can tell you, having grown up, growing up, and I grew up in Canada, so I was born and raised in Canada, and in a small city, but we had a really strong Caribbean population. My parents are both immigrants from the Caribbean, from Grenada, and so I'm a first gen. And I had two principals growing up that were Black women. One was from the Caribbean and friends with my mother, which I didn't like, but nonetheless, it's because you're friends with my mom. And the other one was from Uganda, also friends with my mother, which I also didn't like, but nonetheless, here we are. But I can tell you the impact of having those women in my life who look like me, who look like my mom, who look like my aunties, and were leaders in my community is huge. So we have to keep showing up for our kids. and our grandkids, because
Mm-hmm.
it's going to make a difference. It's going to remove barriers for our children and our children's children as they see community leaders who look like them.
Exactly.
And it removes those thoughts of I can't do that. Well, of course I can.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Wow.
Year,
Wow.
years ago, I took my children to a brunch at my law school. I was really proud to take them, and this makes me chuckle. I took two of my children. I don't remember why I didn't take my third, but my oldest was maybe 8 or so at the time, 8 or 9, and he would not stop fidgeting. And I was like, I need you to sit up and pay
Mm-hmm.
attention. He was, 8 or 9 year old boy, and he was just
Yes.
all over the place. And I and I finally leaned into him and I said, little boy, I said, you are sitting in the room with judges and lawyers and professors. And I need you to like really stop and pay attention and take this all in. Like, I need you to appreciate the room that you're sitting in because I
Mm-hmm.
need you to see this. And he
Mm-hmm.
looked at me and he says, Mom, I see you every day.
Wow. Wow. Boom.
My
Oh,
girlfriend, my
yeah.
girlfriend looked at me and she's like, what are you going to say now? And I was like,
Nothing.
I had nothing to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. But I was like,
Mhm. Yeah.
speechless, but he gets it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I want that for everyone else. I want that for
Absolutely.
other kids.
And you said that, and we're gonna go to Willa in a minute because actually Willa's calling from Chicago, so I want her to be able to chime in as well. But let me ask you this: you said earlier that you also a professor and you're teaching.
Yes.
At how valuable is that you have an opportunity to mold those young minds to what should be or would be the right way of thinking?
It is amazing to be back at my alma mater teaching second year law students on trial advocacy, which is basically how to try a case, how to handle litigation, has been absolutely amazing. I think one of the things that I really appreciate about doing that is I get to pour into young, formative minds.
Mm-hmm.
They're also receptive, but it's the little lessons, right? Like, so we're talking about direct examinations last
Mm-hmm.
week. And I say to them, here's an important lesson. Remember, if you have a witness coming to court, to remind them about their attire because, you need to remind them how to dress. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
able to say to them, be mindful that depending on who your witness is, they may not have the money to dress the way you expect them to dress. So when
Mm-hmm.
you're speaking to them, address them with dignity and compassion.
Yes.
Because if you need to dress them, you don't need to dress them down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You need to talk to them with respect and dignity because if you need to dress them, that don't make them feel less than. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's reminding people of those little things because it's really easy to walk into the room and be like, oh my gosh, you didn't have a blazer. You thought that was the best thing you could wear to court without thinking about the fact that that might be all that they have.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow. That's good. That's good. Willa, what's on? Good morning, Willa. How you doing this morning?
Morning, Raheem. Good morning, team.
Man, what?
I just got a quick question.
Okay.
I live in Chicago. Chicago, Illinois,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a big city. And I don't know if you are aware of the crime rate that goes on here. But my question to you is, I've been listening to you, and if I was there in your state, you'd probably be one of the ones I vote for. But my question is that with all the change that you're trying to implement and that you want to happen, have you foreseen any barriers that would stop you from doing what you plan? And if you do, have you got anything in place to try to change that?
It's a great question. Thank you. Well, the great thing about the office that I'm seeking is when I win, I have a fair amount of autonomy. And so the programs that I'm hoping to put in place, um, they're within the I'm working the programs that I have in mind and the things that I want to do are all within the discretion of my office. I am not trying to do something outside of my lane, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Yes.
And so there are a lot of things that I would love to change across the board about a lot of things, as a mom and like as a community member, as a community leader, there are a lot of things, but I'm limiting myself to what is definitely within the umbrella and within the purview of this office. Because I think it's important, as you said. I don't want to set myself up for failure. And more importantly, I've worked for other electeds who are successfully doing similar things. And so I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm trying to adjust it a little to fit the mold of Gwinnett County. But we have other offices that are doing similar programs, not exactly what I have in mind, but somewhat similar programs successfully. So no, my thing is, as long as I stay within my lane as Solicitor General, and keep the programs within the confines of the jurisdiction of this office, I don't foresee any problems. Because there's just, I know with the support of our Board of Commissioners, with the support of our bench, we can get this done. And everything that I want to do is well within those boundaries.
Wow, that's good. This is not a question. I'm going to say something to you, because far too often we get in situations where we take care of everybody else around us. We take care of, our jobs and, our families, and we sometimes forget to take care of ourselves. So don't forget about your me time. Don't forget about your me time. That's very important. And you speak. I notice that you speak a lot about mental health and mental stability. That's a part of it. So whatever you do, don't forget about you. Don't forget about yourself. Talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
I think it's I'm listening to something else, but I think it's important that people understand this type of position and getting out the vote, which she reiterated, and how they drawing these lines and things, and you wind up with people representing you that don't even have no concern whatsoever for your livelihood or anything. So does she, as a teacher, does she believes that she's having an impact on those students, and are the students telling her that they want something different when they go into the workforce?
So most of my students, I'm actually really proud of my class. They all, for the most part, have a pretty clear idea of how they want to impact the world. And I will say this, service is different for everyone. One really wants to impact the world in early childhood education in the legal realm that way. Another one has a background in IT. Another one is really concerned with health and human services. And so, yeah, we're talking about that. We're talking about, how does your law degree, how does your work in this field, how does it translate to service in the community? And so everyone has their own idea of how they fit in. And I think that's important that we realize that not everyone's service is going to look the same. Some people, their service is to go door to door and register people to vote. Other people, our service is to like uncomfortably sit at a table as the first and demand that we are able to put people in diversion programs when nobody else will do it. So I mean, service is different. And so these are the conversations that I'm having with my law students. These are the conversations I'm having with junior attorneys when they come across, and with my interns and things like that, because it's something, I think if we plant that seed early on, it becomes natural as part of their career track. Like, how does this help me to serve?
Also, can I ask you one other question?
Yeah, go ahead.
How I was speaking somewhere, and a young brother who was just graduating from law school, and he asked me what could he do to be a part of the movement, because he heard some of the things I was saying. And I believe that sometimes there are not enough, I don't think of a better word, conscious law enforcement individuals who understand this race dynamic. And I think I told him the best thing for him to do was to put him and his friends together and start a firm that represented people that wouldn't get the best representation. So how do you feel like when they come out of school, do you push towards maybe into a government sector or private sector first?
That depends on who they have around them. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there. It depends on who you have as a mentor and who you have supporting you and what kind of resources you have pouring into you. I think you're going to get out of any situation what you want out of it. I had a non-traditional path, starting as on the public defender side and then transitioning to prosecution. Most people start off as prosecutors and then go into private practice.
Mm-hmm.
What I prefer about my path is I learned how to poke holes into cases first and how to evaluate cases in a different way. And so
Mm-hmm.
when I became a prosecutor, I looked at my files very differently. When I looked at a file, I looked for those holes. I looked for how I would approach it if I was the defense attorney. I also looked for the non-obvious approaches, right? Because that's what I would be exploiting if I was on the other side. Also, I looked at people as more than that paragraph in their police report, right? Because I learned as a public defender that there was so much more to their story than whatever little blurb or
Right.
whatever the paragraph was in the police report, because I had to sit there and get to know my clients. And
Mm-hmm.
so what I realized was I had to rely on so much more than the narrative in a police report, because there was so much more to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you start to think that way, I think it's helpful. So for some people, depending on where they work and what area they're in, I would highly recommend going to the public defender's office. Depending on the office, I think you can get a lot of really rich experience, especially if you're willing to go out a little further, because then you can get more of a case variety and you'll have the support of an office. Hanging
Mm-hmm.
a shingle right out of law school can be adventurous and it's brave and it's noble, but also can be really challenging, because you don't really know what you're doing and you don't really know until you kind of get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Prosecution is great as well, but that's a lot of power.
Yeah.
And the problem with some of that is if you don't have the inclination to think about people again as more than just, what might be presented to you, it's easy to think, well, she was stealing that ham because she's a thief,
Mm-hmm.
right? As
Mm-hmm.
opposed to, here's a desperate mother who was just trying to feed her family.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Toya, you have a question, and Rico coming to you next. Toya? I think we might have lost. Toya may be occupied. Rico, you got a question, brother?
Yeah, I recall her saying that she went from the public defender's office to the state attorney's office.
Mm-hmm.
So first off, I would like for her to sort of tell people what the difference is between the state attorney or assistant state attorney and a solicitor general, and then secondly, what because I know that's a common practice, seeing a lot of people go from being a public defender to a prosecutor. But in my experience, I've seen a lot of manipulation and people taking advantage of that situation. Public defenders allowing people to get prosecuted, and then the prosecutor gets all these conviction rates, and then he goes and runs for a higher position, and then the public defender goes to work for the state attorney's office. What can be done? Because I ain't saying you've seen it, but I'm pretty sure you've seen it, just like you saw what the judge did with that over that extreme sentence. What can be done to stop that corruption or that manipulation of the system of people just rigging up their numbers to get elected or pad their resume when I'm gonna say vulnerable, probably mentally incapable people are being taken advantage of, like with the third strike, so many different situations that people will like I said, they patent stats. They need that on their resume when they're ready to run for the governor.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fantastic question. Thank you. So I'm going to address both of them. First, as a public defender, I was an assistant public defender, meaning I represented people who were unable to afford to hire a personal private attorney. So I was a court-appointed attorney. I was assigned to a particular judge in Superior Court, and I was responsible for that judge's entire docket. of all of the public defender cases. I also carried a caseload for each of the 5 judges for their trial cases. So anybody who was charged with a crime in that circuit assigned to that judge, if they could not afford a private attorney, they got me because I was assigned to that courtroom, right? I then transitioned and ultimately became an assistant solicitor general, working for an elected solicitor general. And as an assistant solicitor general, I was a prosecutor in state court. So as a public defender, I was in superior court where I handled everything from traffic to murder. As an assistant solicitor general, I was in state court, handling all misdemeanors, high and aggravated, and what have you. I will tell you in terms of my numbers, and I don't talk about my stats. I really don't. But I won more cases as a public defender than I lost.
Wow.
And that contributed a lot into why I switched sides. And I don't say that to boast, and I want to explain this. I won more cases, and I won them because I would literally say, we should not go to trial on this. And here's why. Here's why I'm asking you for a reduced plea. Here's why I'm asking you to consider something else. Here's why I'm asking you for an alternative. And the prosecutor would be like, nope, we're going to trial. And this is why I think I can prove. And this is why I want this harsh sentence and, whatever have you. And we would go to trial and I would argue on behalf of my client. And I won more than I lost. And honestly, the way the system is set up, that's not really the way it's supposed to happen because the state holds the burden. That means the state is supposed to know this is the evidence that I have. I'm supposed to be able to prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. And so I didn't keep up with my stats in that regard. And I don't practice in that circuit anymore. So there's absolutely no correlation between my work as a public defender and the office I'm currently seeking. And in fact, the office that I'm currently seeking, we don't have a public defender's office in this county. We have an indigent defense list. So we only have private attorneys that can be on the list and be appointed to cases accordingly. In regards to the corruption, I would say I'm very happy to say I've never worked for an elected prosecutor where we kept stats about our conviction rates. Now, as a felony prosecutor, I've also never lost a felony trial. Again, that's not something I often talk about because it's my job, right? And I take pride in just doing my job and working hard on behalf of the citizens, on behalf of the victims. However, that is never, I can tell you, I don't think my boss ever asked me what my stats were in my trial cases. So I don't know that they know that I never lost a felony jury trial. So yes, does corruption happen? Absolutely. I personally have never worked for an elected where win rates are something that are talked about or something that's maintained. And I'm grateful for that. Because I think if we start worrying about win rates and conviction rates, we lose sight of what's important.
Absolutely.
Because a conviction does not equal justice. And that's what we have to remember. A conviction is not always justice. Sometimes justice is an acquittal. Sometimes justice is an outright dismissal before the case even goes anywhere. And sometimes justice is a conviction and sent to prison. So we have to be mindful of that. We have to get out of this mindset that winning means, guilty and sent to jail. That's not what winning always is. I also teach in elder abuse cases across the country with a group under the Department of Justice. And we teach in our elder abuse curriculum that in elder abuse cases, you have to really rethink your idea of prosecution. Because when you're dealing with elder abuse cases, you're often dealing with a trusted defendant, someone who has a trusted relationship with the elder. And so that person has a completely different concept of what justice is, which might really shift our concept. So this work requires sometimes being a little fluid.
Yeah, exactly. Let me ask you this question. And we talk about victories. What are the ingredients in Lisa Marie Bristol that's going to give her that victory in this race that she's in right now? What are the ingredients that's going to make you the winner?
Well, I am working really hard, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
working hard by faith. Um, I am I am a great trial attorney, but I am not a politician. And so I've hired a team of professionals
Mm-hmm.
to help guide me on this path, and I'm listening to them.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to follow the formula that they've given me. Raise money to get out to the voters, raising money so I can make sure that those who don't tune into great programs like this can learn about this election, learn about voting dates, learn about what they need to do in order to not be disenfranchised and not be discouraged. Um, I'm out meeting the community members as often as I can,
Mm-hmm.
canvassing, taking volunteers, putting out yard signs, all of those things. So I'm really trying to work hard and work my hardest to be successful.
Absolutely.
So I think that's important.
Good deal. Good deal. Willa, do you have another question?
No, Raheem, I've been listening. She's been really answering some great questions.
Mm-hmm.
I hope she succeeds in her uh, policy. Well, she's a politic, whether she wants to be or not. But she's a politician.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
But I hope that you win. Congratulations.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Tiffany, you're close up on that screen like you have a question. Okay. Have another question? She's over there
I
working.
don't, but I thank you for your transparency. And, it's good to see, Black women, Black people, period, out here doing their thing. And, I just hope that you and others are out there educating people more, because I don't trust the voting system, but I believe that anybody that votes should be educated and not just vote just to vote, just to
Mm-hmm.
say I voted.
Exactly. Absolutely. Toya, with the T, you back with us? Leonard, coming to you, brother. You have another question?
Well, I do hope that she wins. I'm always happy to see people look like me get involved in Gwinnett County, because I
Mm-hmm.
used to live in Gwinnett County and I vowed never to go back, and
Mm.
that was a long time ago. But
Wow.
I see Gwinnett County growing, and hopefully we'll get a chance for our paths to cross to do something great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I say this
I'm a
all the
Panther, by the way, too.
Ah,
Public policy.
What's up with all these Panthers, man? What y'all trying to do around here? What are y'all really trying to do around here? But listen, I always tell people, man, that I don't get on here and tell you who to vote for or who not to vote for. I don't do that. But I will is who I am voting for. And the person that I am voting for is on the screen right now. You don't have to look too far to find her. She's right there on the screen. I live in Gwinnett County, and she has my vote. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to put you on full screen, Lisa, and let you say whatever's on your heart, any contact information that you may have. If people want to reach out to you, you got the full screen.
thank you very much. I just want to thank you all for the time this morning, for your questions, and for being engaged. I truly appreciate it. If you would like to learn any more about me, you can go to www.lisamariebristol.com. My name's right on the screen, so just lisamariebristol.com. You can sign up to volunteer. You can sign up to donate. Um, every bit helps. All well wishes are appreciated. All dollars are appreciated. And I just truly appreciate the time. Local elections have the biggest impact on our lives. They impact every single thing we do on a daily basis. And as frustrating as the narrative may be, and as frustrated as the media may want us to be about local and national elections, we cannot lose faith. We cannot give up hope. We cannot turn into the ugliness. We have to keep moving forward. And so that's what we're going to do. And we're going to win.
Good
Thank you.
deal. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to take this opportunity and thank you again for giving us this opportunity to talk to you this morning. I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I hope everybody that's listening enjoyed it as much as I did. 'Cause as much as I did, they had a fantastic time. I'll go ahead and say that. Now, Lisa, before you came on, I know you heard what we was talking about. I don't know if you even want to comment on this tonight, and if you don't want to, that's fine as well. But we was talking about cheating. What constitutes cheating? Is it mental, physical, emotionally, or spiritually? What constitutes cheating?
I think all of the above, because where your heart is where your mind is.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, where your heart and your mind and your spirit is, eventually your flesh will follow.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And so, I mean, it snowballs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what the ramifications are for it obviously will change depending on what level you got to. But I think once you're willing to cross that barrier to a certain extent, you've crossed the barrier.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, if you just do it in your mind, obviously that that's just in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still a boundary you've crossed in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something you got to deal with. Fortunately, it's a private something you have to deal with, but it's then a boundary that you now know that you're capable of crossing. The question is, the next time, will you go a little further? So I think it just etches away. But I mean, my husband and I have been married it'll be 18 years.
Congratulations. Yes.
Thank you. It'll be 18 years in July. And I will say, relationships are complicated, and I'm grateful that we both come from strong, loving two-parent families. And that's not the case for everyone. And so everyone's out here trying to do their best. Not everyone has a strong, solid example. And I know I'm grateful for the example that I have. And I'm grateful for the example that he has. So you work with the best that you have.
Good deal. Good deal. Willow.
Good morning, Raheem.
I need to ask you that same question. What constitutes cheating? If a person, let me ask you this question. Well, if a person is on Instagram, we're going to use Instagram for a second, and they're on Instagram and they're obsessed with somebody's profile, and they continuously liking the pictures and making comments and slick little comments and stuff like that. Now, they're in a committed relationship. Are they cheating?
Yes, they are cheating. They're cheating because it's even the intent in the heart that causes them to cheat. Now, it's not like a physical cheat, but it is a cheating. It's just like, you're in a marriage. I'm not going to say like even a relationship, because relationships are not always committed. But when you are in a committed relationship, you can't be doing, you can't, because what you're doing is you're nourishing and you're feeding the flesh. Because when you constantly do that, then you're going to start putting yourself in a position to allow temptation to take you to another level. Because that's how you change that temptation. So no, yeah, don't fool yourself. Yeah, you cheating. Yeah, most definitely.
Leonard, do you agree with that?
Not really. But does it really matter? I tell you what, you'll get a bigger lump on your head for cheating than you will for thinking about it. I'm sure your women in your life would prefer you don't go no further than thinking about it. Because the consequences is going to be a little different.
Raheem.
Yes, ma'am.
Raheem.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I say this, because maybe Leonard will understand even more?
Okay,
go ahead. If you got somebody that you're pursuing, and say, for example, you take them out to eat, or you invite them out to eat, or you invite them someplace, and you don't inform your wife that you're doing it, you already know what the intent is before you get there. So whether people want to agree or not, it's there. It is going to happen because you're going to keep nourishing that thought, because the flesh ain't nothing nice, baby. Nothing. That's my opinion.
Okay. Good deal. Well, listen, I'm looking at the clock, man, and it's we got 1 whole minute. So we got to do a couple of things before we get out of here. Before we do anything else, I want to again thank Ms. Bristol. Thank you very much, sister. I definitely appreciate you. It's been great having you, and again, I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's lovely to meet everyone.
Lovely to meet you as well. Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
If you missed today's show and would like to see the broadcast in its entirety,
You can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dklmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Willa,
And amen. I am ready right
you
here.
know what time
I'm
it is,
ready
right?
this
You know what
morning.
we got. We in a
Yes,
certain way.
Lord.
Are you ready? Are you ready, Willa?
I'm ready. Right here, I am ready.
Go ahead.
Father God in heaven, Lord, we just thank you, Lord. Father, we thank you for allowing us to get up this morning, to give us an opportunity to do something different, oh Lord. Father, we thank you, Lord, for being in our lives, oh Lord, for allowing the angel to be encamped around us and protect us from this evil and wicked world. Father, I'm asking you to touch that young lady, oh Lord. Father, whatever it is that's in her heart, if it's fall within your will, oh Lord, I'm asking you, oh Lord, to give her her heart's desire, Lord. Touch each and every last one that's on this line, Lord. Touch their hearts, open up their hearts, open up their minds to the truth, Lord. And we ask you of these things in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. There's no other way. There's no other way to close the broadcast. That's the only way to close it right there. That's the only way we got to do it. Now, I want to do this right here. I got to tell you, it is what? 11. It's 10 o'clock. Oh, good to say 11 o'clock, Lord Jesus. It is now 10 o'clock. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK, your media group, and associates, and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10 o'clock. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please be blessed.